Welcome to episode 5 of From Dust, our Dungeon World game with the whole crew today. Woo woo! I'm so stoked. It's been a hot minute, or many more than one, since we last played. It's been 2 weeks since we last had Summer and Jess, and even more than that since we last had Kenan and Adam. So welcome back, everybody. Let's do some check-in and whatnot. Summer, haven't seen you in like a week. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Oh, doing great. Since I last saw you, I did a 14-hour stream.
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
So that was pretty buck wild crazy. It flew by so fast. I have discovered that the true way to play Polaris is for 14 hours at a time. And you hit the sweet spot right around hour 9. That's when you start crying. It was incredible. It was so much fun. Just like the best time, but also heartbreaking. It was so good. I don't know. This week has been pretty chill. I started back a lot of my shows that have been on weird breaks because of scheduling and just in between seasons, that kind of thing. So back to a couple of shows that I've been missing, and then, you know, just kind of working on some side projects until today. And me and Kiana got our asses handed to us this morning. So emotionally, no, it was a really good session. So I'm very excited. It's just Saturdays are my favorite day. Honestly, it's so much fun. 2 of my favorite games that happen every Saturday. So I'm excited. It's been kind of a chill week. I'm ready to see, you know, what you all brought me for my engagement shower.
Look, didn't we get you like a birthday present a couple weeks ago in a different game?
Yes.
Summer's like, but this is different. I want more presents.
This is a different character. You still have to get me a gift.
Just presents all the time.
They got you the gift of impending doom.
That's delightful. Well, thanks for that.
Man,
yeah, I don't know if those are impending. I caught the end of your Polaris marathon, and it was very good. But I am seriously impressed that you managed to play not just like a game for that long, but specifically Polaris, which is such a, you know, a game that requires you to be so emotionally vulnerable in order to play it. That it blew me away to come in at like hour 10 and see y'all kicking so much ass.
Yeah, it was incredible though. I loved it. I can't imagine another game that I would have enjoyed for that long, the whole time. Like, because it's so rapidly changing, and we made each other laugh and cry. Like, I was sobbing, crying, and then laughing, crying within 30 minutes. Like, it was so good. I had the best time with that.
It was pretty great. And you're right, actually, that because you get to like hop around so much, it helps keep you fresh. Jess, it's been a hot minute. Last we saw you, you were playing a different Grumpy Mage Boy.
Yeah, basically. I have a brand, what can I say? What have I been doing? We're still on the Samurai Smooching track. We won't talk about the disaster that was the last round. We're on to bigger and better things.
It was such a mistake. Kazuma was such a mistake.
It was a mistake. I'm hurting still. Yeah, we're moving on to Sanosuke's route, and he is 1,001 times better. And we're going to do more of that tonight and tomorrow. Other than that, my weekend Planescape game continues. We are in the middle of a train heist, wherein it is an interplanar train full of genie.
That's
We're
awesome.
trying to steal a gem.
That's so
And
cool.
my character is the only one who has any experience running a con or a heist or anything related therein.
So I'm sure that's going real well.
He has a headache right now.
Oh, poor boy.
Yeah. So other than that, a lot of my regular like stream type games have been on hiatus for various reasons, but that will all be back on soonish, and then I'm gonna be very busy very soon in a lot of other streams. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, you've got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak.
Let's be real. I just wanted to hang out with Summer a lot more.
That's exactly it.
I understand that feeling, honestly. Yeah, I now being on the other end of like all of my announcements for like this season, quote unquote, of my programming, it's so weird looking back to like how stressed I was like a couple weeks ago. Because there was like fun shots, and then like during fun shots I was planning this show and travel and like all the shit that went into that. So I do not envy you, Jess, in this run up to stuff, but I do wish you luck.
I look at my calendar every so often and I'm just like, oh, wow, I did that to myself.
There's no one to be mad at except yourself, and that's the worst feeling. I did this to me.
You can take all of my anime ganbate energy.
much obliged. I'm gonna need it all through the fall, but it will be great.
Speaking of someone who is busy and plays a bunch of stuff, Kiana, it's been quite some time since we had you on the show. How have you been? What have you been?
Yeah,
up
it's been
to?
a hot month. I had my birthday. I turned 21. I moved.
Oh my!
I finished this term of school and started working again and planning on my new season of role-playing game. When do I even sleep? I don't know.
What is sleep?
What are sleep?
Yeah.
How do sleep?
There's no time for her.
I have an actual Excel spreadsheet of my schedule
Oof.
to plan out everything. Because I'm like, okay, I need to do 6 hours of work, like for, my job per week, and then I need to do this other thing for this other job, and then I have classes, and so
Oh my
I
god.
might manage the shit out of the next couple of months. But that's fine. I'm fine. I'm good.
it's fine.
I have all of the sympathy for you.
yeah, I can't blame anyone but myself.
Yep.
I
May
did
we all
catch...
survive the upcoming season.
Yeah. I did catch your birthday stream over on Scrat's channel. That was so good. That was some great stuff.
Yeah, that was amazing. For those who didn't know, I did for my birthday. The Scottish Kids Academy wanted to do a stream and give the funds to me, and I was like, no, let's give. And eventually, we argued it out, and they're like, fine, we're gonna donate it to a charity. So yeah, we did a full 6-hour stream of tabletop gaming, where we raised money for Childhood Cancer Canada, and we raised over $400 in the course of 6 hours, which was super amazing. I set a goal for 200, and we hit 200 in the first 20 minutes of the stream.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was impressive. And
So I almost cried, as is, but it was amazing, an amazing thing with the community. So hopefully in the future will be more charity stuff, because I think it's a super cool way of playing games and doing stuff for a good cause. So somehow I'll fit in my schedule.
yeah. It's I've reached a point where I like have an idea and I'm like, I will write that down, and when I have time for that idea, then I will do it. But I'm not going to try and make it work right now. Because,
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that one.
But yeah, huge congrats for that, and a very belated happy birthday.
Thank you. I can now drink in the States.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I've been able to drink in Canada for 3 years. But
This is what matters.
Everything is better in Canada. Fuck. Speaking of huge congratulations, though, Adam, you had some stuff happening while you were away, right?
Some stuff and some things. Very exciting. I went on a high-flying adventure to sunny, beautiful California, and got myself all married. Check out my my +1 ring of marriage here.
Ooh, congratulations! Oh my God.
That's super exciting. Whole new big step, and that's awesome. Besides that, I do have some cool voiceover stuff that I can't talk about because NDAs.
Ooh.
Of course.
So maybe one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise,
remind us
despite
when it
all
comes
the
out.
excitement, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back in the From Dust chair. Glad to be back to getting all my nerdy stuff.
Yeah, okay, so getting married is pretty cool, but I need to ask you, what's the situation with the kitten?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so
Update us on the kitten.
yeah, so we have a boy, a small boy, that my wife has been looking after, and they're actually both still in Cali right now. She's gonna be flying over sometime next week, and kitten's still very young, so unfortunately a little too young to fly right now. And so we're talking about maybe flying back, picking him up, bringing him back home. And and then if we can't for any reason, which I hope doesn't happen, but I don't want to be selfish, but we'll find him a good home.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather it be my home.
Yeah, the best home is your
right.
home.
We don't prefer that.
Absolutely.
He's my boy.
Yeah, and so I've said this on Discord, but I'm going to say it on stream so people can hold me to it. I am 100% serious. If you do bring that kitten home and it shows up on stream, first time it shows up on stream, I will give you experience.
Okay.
It is a deal.
Sure.
You can hold me
Sure,
to that.
I'll
Chat?
he'll just chill out on my shoulder and eat my beard.
If all it takes
Oh
is me
my
bringing
God.
home kittens to get experience,
Like, I don't see how
Going
that's a bad
outside?
situation at all.
You have to keep
right
the
back and go
kitten
into PetSmart.
afterwards, Summer. You can't just
right? I
borrow
understand.
A kitten.
Yes, I
Gonna have,
understand.
20 cats behind Summer. And off camera,
Listen,
Summer's
my
husband's
husband
just
can't say no because it's for experience. I need these for experience.
It's like, you don't understand, honey. If I don't do this, Arrow will die. Do you want my character to die?
It's this or death. Which is it? Also, are you really going to tell me to take these kittens back to the pound? I don't think so.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Summer, you're a monster.
That's how we got Bowen. I literally just went and bought her.
Oh my
like-
god.
I was like, don't be mad. I bought a kid today.
You're like, look, I got her. We're keeping her.
I was like, listen, it's too late. I've already paid for her. I already signed the paperwork. She's ours. But we have to go get her on Monday.
Bless your husband.
Oh my god, the patience you must have. Whew, okay. Get those wiggles out. Are we just about ready to play some Dungeon World?
Are we ever ready to play
Sure.
some Dungeon World?
I mean, I'm usually pretty ready. I don't know.
Listen, you're too stoked for this. We talked about this.
I'm already very close to experience. I mean, to leveling up again.
Yeah, you have a huge pile of experience, and Farron
to
had a
win.
huge pile.
I'm here to win the game.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, but like if you hit max level too fast, I think you have to retire your character, don't you?
What's max level?
Like
Uh,
10?
10 or 20 or something. You don't
Those
have
are
to
very
retire.
different.
You don't have to retire the character, but your options are, if you hit max level, you either have to retire the character or choose another class and start leveling that from level 1.
Interesting.
Incredible. I will do these things.
So the book does say that when that happens, if you do pick a second class instead, so you lose the old class. You don't stay the old class and become a second class, but you can negotiate or talk to the GM, and between the two of you, you decide which things are like core to who your character is, and you do keep those.
Well,
As-
his name is Arrow.
As far as you know, you keep the stat bonuses, so So yeah, all right. Let's play the game. Let's do it. So where we last saw some of our heroes, Vori was tossing and turning in his room in the Raji Goblin, and Arrow had bedded down in a local park in Sanctuary, placing a single coin beneath his pack to lay down for the night in the hopes that this would fulfill his bargain with the Queen of the Fae, Mab. So I think today we come in on Arrow. So you wake up in the morning, the sun filtering in, as the fog hasn't quite rolled in yet today. So you awake in this park. You hear the sound of birds chirping. Everything's kind of idyllic. The sounds of the waking city around you, and you just feel so comfortable, Arrow. More comfortable probably than you have ever been sleeping on the hard ground outside. And as you lift your head from your pillow, you are greeted by a bit of a surprise. Specifically that you have lifted your head from a pillow and not a pack. And as you look down, you can see your weapons beside you, where you left them, your bedroll, where it had been tied to your pack, but not your pack. Your pack is now a wonderfully embroidered pillow. You can remove any dungeon equipment, whatever that item is called, from your character sheet. Along with dungeon rations.
Okay. So get rid of adventure gear?
Adventuring gear, yeah.
Okay.
What do you do?
He sits up and looks around to see who took his pack, to see if he can see anybody. If I lift up the pillow, is the ring under there?
You didn't place the ring under there. You kept the ring on your finger. It was a coin that you had to place.
Oh yeah, the coin. Just kidding.
Under the pillow. The coin is gone.
And it's morning?
It is, yeah. The sun is just peeking in over the tops of the buildings, as behind you, the fog is starting to roll over the walls of the city.
Yeah, he grabs his stuff and gets up and starts to walk around. Like, he was like under a tree, so I imagine he does like a loop around the tree. Like,
you're like looking for your pack.
Yeah.
I think this is a discern realities.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're like you're studying the situation and trying to figure out what the fuck happened.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Who snuck this under my head?
An 8. Okay, you get one question.
Oh gosh. What happened here recently?
Your pack became a pillow.
That's so rude. Why would
You were
that
given some
happen?
very explicit directions from Mab regarding where to place the coin. And you did... I mean, you made an attempt, but she was kind enough to sort of nudge your attempt toward actual correctness.
That's fine. That's fine. Yep. He grabs his weapons, grabs the pillow, and heads into town. Toward the inn.
All right, so you head back toward the inn.
Mhm.
Vori, you awake in your room with a start as your nightmare ends, and the sun is filtering in through the window. Your blankets are all tossed to the side.
He just kind of sighs and rolls up out of bed, tosses the blankets back, and just will proceed to stretch a bit and take a look outside the window, get a sense of when and where. Like, how late in the day is it these days?
It's still pretty early. It's probably like 7 a.m.
Okay. Alright. Wonder if the others are back, finally. He'll just get himself dressed up in the proper town clothes. Or at least as much as he cares to.
Yeah, you
And,
can't figure out how to tie the cravat, so maybe you
Yeah,
give
it's
up on
like,
that.
whatever. He'll just drape it and not care.
Yeah.
Leave it like a few buttons opened because whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And make his way downstairs to see if the others have turned up at all or not, or if Arrow is in and about.
Making your way downstairs, you do see two familiar faces sitting at one of the tables near-ish the door. And Farron, you and you also, Gregor, are sitting now in the common room of the Raunchy Goblin, presumably waiting on your breakfast. Gregor, you're feeling pretty good. You've had an active last few days. Like maybe a little bit sore from working out more than usual, but more like energized and in shape. Maybe feeling a little bit more in control than you did a couple days ago. Whereas Farron, you just had you had the worst night. You had a great night until the sleeping happened, and then it was less great. You've been having these strange nightmares where you're lost in darkness, and it's really disconcerting. And you see the strange figure that was wielding blue fire back in Rookdale, Vori, coming down the stairs into the common room. What do you do?
You see Farron probably kind of has one hand just kind of propping them up a little. But they have a parchment in front of them, and they seem to kind of just be writing, scratch things out, writing. And Farron's been doing this for a good 15 minutes, Gregor. And every time you might look over, Farron's like, not done yet.
Don't look. Vori will take a moment to go to the bar to at least grab a few drinks and bring those to the table.
Yeah.
Just water or something for the morning that is not alcoholic in any way, shape, or form.
Lethaldaran will oblige.
Yeah. He'll set those down on the table for each of them. Oh, good morning.
Gregor will have been watching the creative process, finding entertainment value in it. And he'll look up and be like, oh, hey there, and kind of look Vori over once, and it's like, new clothes, looks good.
Yes, thank you. Had to try to fit in a little bit. Apparently they don't like it if you walk around with everything out in the open.
Some people, right?
May I sit?
Sit.
He'll pull a chair out, flip it around, and sit down.
Do you sit the detective style?
Yep.
Oh my god. This fucking guy. Jesus.
This guy.
Why do anything appropriate?
What a guy.
Speaking of saying this guy, the door opens and in strides Arrow. He's got like most of his equipment hanging by like its belts and stuff in one hand, and then like both arms holding this rather large, ornate pillow to his chest.
Do you have a nice night out in the park?
I guess so. She took my bag, so I
And
gotta get a
gave-
new one of those.
And
Who
gave
took your
you a
bag?
pillow?
Yeah, gave me a pillow. Guess I didn't follow instructions carefully enough.
Well,
Who took your bag?
long story
yeah.
short, we, let's see. We got very drunk. We ran off some hoodlums. I got new clothes. Some other things happened, and he got married to a fairy queen. Something like that, I think.
And you didn't invite us?
No, I don't. It wasn't quite like that.
I
Whatever,
was going to
yeah.
say. Would have been a bit rude to just forget about us.
No,
Well,
it
it
was
wasn't exactly a party. We were sort of cornered in a deserted house somewhere.
What were you doing in a deserted house?
she just. We were there because a woman made a deal, and I'm not very good at explaining things.
No, you're not.
There was a
Doesn't
little
matter. I need a
theft
new
problem
bag.
around. Yes, there was a little theft problem around here. We sort of stumbled our way into helping sort that out. One thing happened, another happened, etc., and it turns out that fairies had made a deal with this woman regarding her daughter. We tried to help, and he ended up married to the queen of the fairies because
Nobody
doesn't-
used the word married, but
he doesn't know when to say no.
listen, it was an easy deal to make.
Well, that
Whoa.
sounds quite like a story, I would say.
Congratulations.
You can see a ring on Arrow's ring finger that's sort of like a pure white, sort of ivory ring.
Wow, you got real married.
Yeah, we don't know the ramifications of that over the long term, except apparently she decided your pack is better as a pillow, so that's a problem.
Well, it was just because, she gave me those instructions about the coin and everything, and I thought, since I don't have a pillow, I would just use my pack, and then my pack became a pillow, I think.
Hopefully you didn't have anything too valuable in there.
Nothing that important, but do want a new one. And now we have a pillow, and he just hands it over. Just puts it on the table.
On the table. Lethalthoran comes over with some food and just like looks at the pillow, and you can see him be like, "Is this one of mine?" No, okay. And then he's like serves the food.
Don't worry about that. Sorry.
Right. And a thing that Farron and Gregor will notice also about Arrow, now that he's put this pillow down, is that he's wearing the brooch that was Rydia's holy symbol, and the gem in the center of it is glowing, which it did not do before.
Kind of like, do the little bit of conspiratorial. Are you noticing what I'm noticing?
Yeah, I'm noticing what you're noticing.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
Grady's gonna kind of like do a double take and be like, "Should we say something?"
You two are trying to be secretive. You're very bad at it.
Well, if I really wanted to keep secrets, you wouldn't know, would you?
I hope not.
Well, that's the point of it. Arrow, dear. how long has that brooch been glowing?
It's been glowing since I got it, right?
Yeah, it was technically glowing before that, but things were a little crazy and you didn't quite notice.
Yeah. I guess since Rydia died.
Does it do anything?
I don't think so.
It's a no stone.
Editor's note, since it's been a while since we really talked about those. No stones are ancient Eldrin artifacts that contain memories, knowledge, and power. They are many people that are like, I am a powerful person that goes and does powerful person stuff in the world, are that way because they managed to find a no stone and it gave them powers that they can wield that are not regulated by the Bonds Magi.
As far as Arrow can tell, it's not doing anything for him.
Yeah, I think
Just
you
glowing.
had Vori. The two of you talked about it yesterday morning while you were recovering from your hangover.
Yeah.
And Vori assessed it and explained what it was. But there's a coating of enamel over it. So no stones are activated by touching them. And there's a coating of enamel that's been placed over it, and then the rest of this holy symbol built around it. So touching those does not trigger the stone.
Quite fascinating. Well, I believe that may be something to investigate a little more later.
Maybe.
So, other than dealing with thievery and the tumultuous relationship that is marriage, is there anything that's been going on, that's something that we could look into?
Well, maybe I messed it up, but we were supposed to get that kid back today, I think.
That was more or less the hope.
Wait, there's kids now?
Uh,
I made the deal to get.
No. That's
Marriage and then kids. My
That is
goodness.
not-
Right?
sounds
This one
like-
works fast.
There was
I was
a,
gonna say.
Oh.
there was a woman that was stealing because she couldn't feed her child, so the queen took
The child.
the child, and I made a deal in order to get them back.
Which is where we are now. But apparently you didn't follow the correct instructions, so she's helping you out by giving you a pillow to put a coin under. So maybe we're delayed a day.
Well, she took the coin, so.
Or maybe not. Well, then we just need to find that child, right?
I guess the instructions were pretty vague.
Fairies.
The door to the inn opens once more, and I think Arrow and Vori, you've got your back to the door at this point, with Farron and Gregor sort of facing it. So you don't see, but Gregor, you immediately recognize the attire of the person walking in, because you spent some time living with people who wore robes like this as a bonds mage walks into the common room.
Gregor's gonna be kind of like eating his breakfast and like bring a mouthful to like his mouth and then kind of stop. And does Gregor recognize this particular bonds mage?
I don't think so. Let me double check real quick. Let me press some buttons. Roll20 is being slow today. Press button. Come on. There we go.
button.
Vori is
Come on.
just quite happily tucking into breakfast at this point.
Yeah, Rora's like, this is fine, everything's fine. Oh my god. There we go. I don't think so. No. She's quite young. Probably closer to Vori's age. And she's wearing apprentice robes, as opposed to robes that would be indicative of someone of higher station.
Answer like
walks up to the
a
bar.
world question for me. So I know obviously a lot of paladins and the such are kind of looking out for rogue mages and the like. Obviously, Bond's mage, very different setup here, but like, would they themselves also be like looking out for rogue mages and the like?
Yeah, actually more so than paladins. Paladins, like, being a mage and not a member of the Bonds Magi is technically illegal, and so the paladins, because they enforce the law, care about that. But the Bonds Magi have a vested interest in maintaining control of magic, and so they are ultimately the enforcers in most situations. Like, if there's a Bonds Magi around, any rogue Magi will typically like leave for a bit, and primarily because Bonds Magi can detect magic, right? They're wizards, so typically a fully fledged Bonds Magi will have a device that reacts to magical energies, but an acolyte, a sort of trainee like this wouldn't really be trusted with one of those. So
Right.
them walking into the room doesn't immediately mean, oh no, everything's a disaster. But if they have a teacher nearby that they happen to bring here, that could quickly become a big problem.
Right. Well, having an approximate knowledge of all of these things, Rhaegar is kind of going to look the girl over once, see that she seems younger and still learning, so isn't going to, like, panic or anything, but as he's eating his breakfast, he's just going to, like, look at Vori and kind of try to do that, like, speaking with his eyes things. Psychically
Oh, boy.
say, like, just keep eating breakfast, just be cool.
He's just
And then
kind of
and then
looking
is
back
and,
like,
and then is just gonna
"Alright."
go back to his breakfast.
Yeah, I
There's
think
just the
Era
slight-
starts looking around.
yeah, Gregor just gives you a weird look, Vori, like a very intense look.
It's just like, hi. He'll give the slightest nod. Having noticed that like Gregor's eyes kind of went beyond him before that weird look, and was like,
Yeah,
kind
and
of
you
do
see
one of these.
you see this woman walk up to the bar and like sits down at a stool and waves Lethaldarin over, and starts speaking sort of hushed to him.
He will go back to eating like nothing is wrong.
All right. After
Looking at them being so weird, like
after a time, Lethaldarin will come by to like clear some plates and whatnot. Can I interest you in anything else?
nope, I think we're all set here. Where's the best place to buy a pack?
Probably in Shilling Shave in the market.
All right, thank you.
He looks at the pillow like he wants to ask about it and then decides against it. And he heads back. And you see, like, as he goes back to the bar, he, like, slides a drink over to the mage, and she's just, like, got, like, one face in her elbow and, like, the hand on the drink. And, like, every once in a while she'll lift and, like, take a sip and then put her head down.
Looks like someone had a rough day, night.
Clearly. Not our problem.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I need to go
so
get a new pack and some other things, so you're more than welcome to join me.
I really think I should.
a great
Should
idea.
we settle up our tab and get out of here?
Like leave the inn So this was our last night here.
I think so.
Okie dokie. Yep. All right.
Unless, of course, any of you object. I'm
No,
following
that's
you more
great.
than anything. I have nowhere else to be.
I have no particular attachment to this inn.
Let's go.
All right. Each of you can drop a gold for your inn expenses for today, and then you can head back out into the town. The fog has rolled in at this point, so everything is draped in gray as you walk through the streets. The sounds of the city now muffled by the inclement weather. If you have any shopping you would like to do, you may do so now. Just grab some items. Arrow, I know you have a pile of money, so
I do.
go ahead and
Yeah.
add that in there. And then I think while we were away, Farron leveled up, right? So
Yep, they did.
What ability did you pick up for Farron?
I picked up Eldritch Tones, which
Yeah.
which lets me do 2 magical effects instead of just 1.
Fuck yeah. And which stat did you boost?
Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing we did.
Yeah, when you level
Clearly,
up, you
I
get
haven't been
to
leveling up.
yeah, you get to pick an advance, a new move, and you also get to boost one of your stats by 1 point.
Lovely. I will think on that.
Okay. And Gregor also, you leveled up since last we saw you.
Yes,
So-
we did.
What ability did you pick, and which stat did you boost?
All right. I boosted my constitution so that I may endure further things. And I picked interrogator,
Nice.
which lets me use strength instead of charisma when I threaten people with bodily harm.
Beautiful. That's perfect for you.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Lovely.
Doesn't even say anything. He just flexes.
Just flexes and his shirt kind of rips.
So we get a bit of a montage as you go through the market to various stalls, and Arrow, you buy a new pack to store your items, and you can replace your supplies.
Yeah, I did.
And after a time, you see a familiar face. You see Marguerite, as she's. You actually, I think you come upon her as you're buying some of your supplies, as she's working at a stall. But she sort of starts in surprise when she sees you, and like looks around nervously.
Hi.
Hello.
So you're working here.
Yeah, it's out of nowhere. I just thank you so much. Vili is back home. They're fine. They're better than fine. They're better than I've ever seen them. And then just this morning, she turns to gesture to the sort of stall keeper, the person who like owns the business and is like handling some other customers. She came to my home and just offered me a job. I don't know what you did, but whatever it was, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Just work hard and take care of your family.
Of course. If you ever need anything, please don't hesitate to ask. I can never repay you for this.
No payment necessary. It's the right thing to do.
She sort of nods wryly. I'm afraid not everyone thinks that way.
Have to start somewhere, yes?
Suppose you're right. And who are your friends?
Friends.
Gregor's not saying anything, but he's just like smiling and just kind of
Yeah,
like staring
Fran
at
and
them.
Gregor both probably have like shit-eating grins right now.
Yeah, she just like
Smiling too
smiles. She nods in acknowledgement of the intentional lack of information. Well, I'm glad I got to see you, and so I could thank you in person.
Of course. Take care of your child. And good luck.
Of course. Thank you. She bows profusely. It's a little awkward.
He doesn't look particularly put out by this at all.
Of course not.
Well, it
Listen.
worked then.
Shall we go?
Yeah. Let's go.
Where would you like to go to? Perhaps some options. You could try and find work in the city, or I believe you still have some rumors from elsewhere that you could investigate. You could ask around in the city as you're buying stuff to see if you could find more information, further leads. What are y'all feeling? I guess actually my question here is so Era's doing a lot of shopping. Farron, as the more sociable person in the party, what are you doing as you wander through the market?
Farron is keeping their ears out for anything interesting. Any particularly hushed conversations, any particularly heated arguments, any particularly oddly cryptic, the too normal to be normal conversations. Just kind of, as they like browse things and kind of just, run their hands over like somebody's wares, just kind of keeping an ear out.
Go ahead and roll plus charisma for me. See what you can find out. Oh, a 10. Okay, I'm gonna give you.
Our
What's the
sweet charming
news?
child.
There is plenty of news for you to find. Let me start.
What do
grabbing some
my elf
things.
ears hear?
What do your elf ears hear?
Your elf ears hear that fucking Roll20 is still being so slow today. Jesus Christ. I don't know why my computer is grumpy at Roll20 today of all days. With this, like the least intensive of my Roll20 campaigns.
Firefox or Chrome?
Both. And then 4. Oh, okay. And 3. All right. You hear 3 rumors, which I will add to your handout in 30 years when Roll20 lets me. You hear that harpies have been causing trouble along the coast. There's treasure to be found beneath Kagora Manor in Tiern. And Archbishop Carolina Carver is coming into town soon.
Okay.
So yeah, that significantly increases the number of rumors you have on hand. And save changes, so that should be in the handout now.
Yeah.
So after a time, maybe the group of you pick up some food from like a street vendor, and are loitering on a street corner, sort of not really interested in heading back to your previous meeting place.
Yep.
what do you do? What does your conversation look like?
So where do we go from here?
Well, it depends on what kind of things you're looking to do. I may have heard a thing or two. Interesting possibilities, I guess you could say.
Gregor's like chomping down into a turkey leg he got from the stall. He's kind of like what?
Yes, do tell.
Yeah, whatever street food they have, like, Farron has managed to make it look elegant. Despite Well, if you're into more, fighting things, then seems to be some harpies causing trouble along the coast. If you want to go and travel a bit, there's treasure, I hear, found at a mansion. Or a manor, rather. Could check that out if we're a little lackey in funds. And, well, if we want to stick around town, the Archbishop is coming here.
Oh, really?
That, alongside if we wanted to look more into Eldrin things, there seems to be an ancient Eldrin lake somewhere. There's somebody in town that has potential information on where to find it.
I have no preference, so
I always like money. Although fighting monsters sounds kind of refreshing too. Nice to fight something that's not a demon.
Can't say I would mind that.
what do you think, Farron?
I am more than happy to do whatever you lovely people would decide to do.
Gregor's gonna look at Vori and kind of be like, I think we should all let some steam off. And who better to take it out on than, bird creatures?
Seems fair to me. I don't really care that much, as long as we aren't here when the Archbishop arrives. I have no interest in church festivities.
Ah, so you do have a preference.
That's as much of a preference as I'm going to give for now. I'm the low man on the totem pole here. I just arrived.
Well, I'd like to think that we don't have a totem pole. We're all equal contributors to this group, are we not?
But if there was a totem pole, I'd totally be like.
Yes, Gregor, you
Of
would.
course. So then, harpy slaying?
Let's move to the coast.
What are we waiting for? And Gregor's just gonna toss the bone behind him.
It hits somebody.
Ow! Oi! Watch where you're throwing your shit.
Let's go.
Yes.
Yes, when you throw
we
any
run?
bones at people.
So feel free. We're gonna go to a break before we actually do the travel rules, but I will remind you that travel will require y'all to take on some roles. I recommend before heading off into the wilderness that you buy any rations or bandages or other healing items that you want to have on hand. Because as I think I mentioned it in the last episode of the one before, but technically I was incorrect on adventuring gear. Adventuring gear is not meant to replace rations and bandages and whatnot. It is meant to replace stuff like, oh, I need to have a torch, right? Or like, I need to have rope. And rather than having like a bunch of entries for those things, you can just have the adventuring gear. And when you say, I need this weird tool, then you spend a use of that. So as like we'll say that you did your travel shopping while you were walking around with Arrow. But I think as we narrow in on our commercial break, walking toward the gate, we see Arrow, you sort of absent-mindedly adjust the brooch that Rydia was wearing, and as your hand comes close to it, the ring on your finger turns hot. Not like painfully hot, but quite noticeably. And we see you like look down in surprise at these two objects, and we are going to go to our first break. So, when we come back, we will potentially see what's up with that, potentially not. But we will come back to see what these four adventurous people get up to as they travel across the world to go face off against some harpies. See you soon. Hello, welcome back to episode 5 of From Dust. So, looking at the map here, as you get your... Actually, we should probably deal with the cliffhanger I just left us on before we do travel stuff, huh?
What? The traveling is so interesting.
Fine. Okay, so yeah, you're like just at the city gates at this point, Arrow, and yeah, so we see you're looking down at like the ring and the brooch. What do you do?
Yeah, he definitely moves closer to the brooch to see if that warm feeling intensifies as he gets closer to the brooch.
It does, and the brooch sort of vibrates a bit, and you see like the enamel start to flake away.
He moves his hand away.
Okay, it stops.
Because this is something that he wants to deal with and look into, but not at this current moment while they are leaving the city, at the gates of the city.
All right, so you're just like, I'll deal with that later. Like, look around at your party. None of the rest of you noticed. So, all right, you head out onto the plains, and you've got a long way to go. You're gonna be heading basically from Sanctuary to Two Rivers and the outlying areas. So that's a very, very long way. We're looking at probably, I don't know, 30 days of, or 30 rations of travel?
Holy crap.
Oh, did we prepare for that?
I don't know, did you?
I don't know,
No,
did we?
that it was that far out.
Would you like to?
Yes.
That's fine. That's allowed. You can be like, wait,
30
I need to...
each? 30
Yeah.
each or 30 total?
30 each.
30.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 3 rations.
You might want to buy more.
I
Do
bought-
any of you have carrying space that you can spare for
Yeah.
a sweet, weak arrow boy?
Tough. I think that
Yes.
increases my load.
Yeah, I've got 16 rations, or I mean 15 rather.
You could also try and go to somewhere in the intermediary and resupply there instead of taking a straight shot all the way to Two Rivers.
Is
We're
there
not in a
anything?
rush.
Yeah, is there anything in between?
Well, this is the magic of Dungeon World, is we can just say there is.
There is. There's
We'll
plenty in
stop-
between.
We'll stop
in fact.
halfway.
Is it within 3 rations?
Hmm.
Well, okay, each ration has what, 4 or 5 uses?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's.
So are we talking uses of rations or actual rations?
Let's double check some stuff. Let me see.
In
if
that
I can...
case, I have 1 ration and 3 uses.
Fucking. Where in the book is the equipment? I don't remember. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Dungeon rations, 5 uses, 1 item, and then if we go to the special moves for it's like travel, undertake a perilous journey. Here we go. A number of rations. I assume. Oh, it says number of rations, not number of uses.
Well, you would think they would mean uses.
Well, typically they
Unless
say,
we're eating like five
that is
times
a
a
good
day.
point. That is a
Unless
good
they-
point because
yeah.
like when you spend an ammo, right? Like you mark one use of ammo, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's uses.
Okay. So 30 uses of ration.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is
So that's more like
6 rations.
That's
Six
six rations each.
Yeah.
yeah 6.
So if somebody can carry 3 for me, I've got 3 for myself.
Sure.
I can carry those for you.
And then you have 3 roles that you need to assign to party members. You have the quartermaster, who can potentially reduce the number of rations required. The trailblazer, who can reduce the amount of time it takes. And the scout, that can spot any trouble before it gets
Is
to
this
you.
through the wilderness?
This is, and
Okay.
I think I was misinterpreting through the wilderness earlier. I think it's just any time you're undertaking a perilous journey, it applies.
Okay. So whatever job I do, we get a plus 10 on. So if y'all want
You
me
get a
to,
10
if you
plus.
want, yeah.
Okay.
So if y'all want to use less rations, or if you want to definitely find it right there, or whatever you want me to do, I get 10 plus.
I offer no benefits whatsoever, so
And
y'all can
for-
carry me.
For clarity, it's a plus wisdom roll. I would also allow 2 people to double up, with one person rolling to aid,
Yeah.
if you would
I
like.
think I was quartermaster last time.
That is correct, which worked out great for the
Yeah,
group.
surely it will this time as well. Maybe.
For minimizing of damage, I will simply help someone. Not gonna be useful here, okay? Lyra gets it.
And that was a wisdom roll.
Yeah. So it's it's embark on a perilous journey, I believe it is.
Okay, what are the roles
Yeah,
again?
undertake it. The 3 roles are quartermaster, trailblazer, and scout.
And what do each of those do?
Rations, navigation, and lookout.
Okay. And which one are you doing, Gregor?
I'll take care of the rations.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh no.
Well, you
I
know.
do not take care of the rations.
Oh.
Yikes.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
I guess I'll do scout if that works for everybody.
Okay.
sure.
10 plus.
Who should
So
I
you-
help? Do you want help?
Not me. Do I need
Oh.
help? No,
No.
because I
I don't think
automatically
you do.
succeed.
No, you
Don't.
get like really good at
Don't
it.
waste it.
So that means Farron is navgating the
Oh
party
boy.
across the land.
Oh.
You got this.
On second thought.
With Volry's help. Volry, could you roll aid? So that's plus 0 because you don't have
Yeah,
any
plus
bonds
nothing, 'cause I-
with Farron right now.
I don't hang out with these people. I don't even go here.
Okay, so Farron's gonna get a +1, but you were going to expose yourself to danger, retribution, or cost. Okay, I already know what that's gonna look like.
This is fine.
Farron, feel
What
free
stat do I roll?
plus wisdom, and you have a +1 on
boy.
this from Volry's help.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh! Perhaps I should have done that. Wisdom save.
Oh, no.
no. Okay,
We
so
lost.
things go pretty well the first 2 days. Maybe even the first week as you're just following the river for much of this. But eventually you have to depart from the lake and the river and traverse open land in order to like actually hit the rivers that will lead to the city you're aiming for. And in that intervening space, some things go not great, shall we say. Arrow, you do a really good job of keeping the party out of danger. There are a couple points where like there are clear bandit ambushes set up that you steer the party around. There's a bear at one point that you can like hold everybody up, move them around. You're doing great, but unfortunately, our quartermaster is not like, we've already established that Gregor is a pretty handy fellow, but you're not necessarily trained in overland supply logistics.
Nah.
And an unfortunate rain spoils much of your food. So I'm going to, because of that and off of that, Vori exposing himself to danger, Vori falls ill. So you like get a cold and it's awful, and it's like you have a chest cold, right? It's like
Sweet.
in your lungs. So
That's
mark
excellent.
sick on
Cool.
your character sheet. And Farron, you've never really been much of a... You've never been full of direction, right? You're more of
I know Sanctuary like the back of my hand.
Yeah, and like, you'll
The
go
rest
places.
of the world is.
I imagine you've never been super attached to getting to the place you intended to get to.
You know.
And that doesn't really align with the rest of the party's intentions, but you do end up probably about 2 weeks in, dreadfully lost. And so we come back in the morning with the group of you. You found a small stand of trees that you set your camp up in, and Vori is like still asleep, tossing and turning. Arrow is like tending to some rabbits over the fire. With Gregor, you've got like your hands on your head looking at the supplies with like flies coming out of them.
No.
And Farron, you're standing at the edge of the trees looking out, and you realize now that this isn't so much of a, oh, we're on an adventure, if we'll come to a place eventually, and more of a, you honestly have no idea where you are. What do you do? Do you tell the group, or are you going to keep this to yourself?
That's what I'm trying to say.
How prideful is Farron?
Pretty prideful.
Well then.
Arrow, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, also mark experience, Gregor and Farron.
Yep.
Yay. Well, at least I got something out of this.
I got nothing out of it. Yeah.
I got nothing.
You got sick.
Fucking full.
I got sick.
Got a cold.
Have you ever been in this area before?
I can't say I have. Why?
Well, it appears that within our detours and the such, I seem to have not quite stayed upon our path.
Oh, so we're lost.
Well, I wouldn't say that, just a detour.
He gets up from the fire and comes to walk over and stand beside Farron and puts his hands on his hips. Well, thankfully, we can't stay lost.
I can't imagine the closest bit of civilization would be infinitely far away from here.
And we are between two rivers. All we need to do is pick east or west and we'll find one.
You're wise as always. And like they kind of look over at the other two.
Yeah, I think at this moment, Vori is actually probably catches your attention. Vori starts awake, and there's a gout of flame from his hand. As Vori, you have had the dream again, and you were
Cool.
attempting to fight back, and you end up fighting back in the waking world as this like plume of flame flies out over the top of the campsite, and you're
Is
just
this
like,
pretty normal for us at this point? Like we've seen this happen
no,
before?
like you've seen him having nightmares, but you sort of assumed it was because he was sick.
Yeah.
But you haven't seen him like he hasn't lashed out.
He hasn't woken up attacking anything.
And it's worth noting that Farron, you also have like you've continued having these dreams of these nightmares of being in darkness.
Gregor's gonna duck and be like, "Look, I'm sorry about the rations, all right?"
What? Sorry. Oh.
You see like smolders in the branches up above.
Vori, are you all right?
I've been better. Just a bad
So,
dream. Where are we? What's going on?
well,
Someone that needs burning.
not exactly. We are not on the path, and we are short on rations.
Wonderful. So same as before. All right. So we're lost. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not exactly. It's hard to be lost between two rivers.
Two rivers. That where we're headed? Because he was definitely not paying
Yeah, I
attention.
was gonna say Vori clearly paying attention in class.
He did not give two shits in town. He just wanted to get out. I could probably sort out the way.
I'm more worried about food. Game has been all right, but who knows if it'll keep up.
So the closer we get to a civilized place, the better.
And the sooner.
Right, well. All there is to do is walk, right?
That is all there is to do.
Let's go.
Then let's go.
Vori like shakily gets up and slides back down the tree.
He's not doing so well, but he's gonna manage.
Yeah, no, it's getting kind of bad. Like honestly, it's probably if you don't get better in like the next few days, it's probably just gonna turn into pneumonia.
Cool.
And
That's fine.
how do the group of you travel? Like you've been together for multiple weeks at this point. Have you been sharing at all, or have you all been sort of closed off and focused on like, oh, we're gonna focus on our jobs and only talk about the work that we're doing? Like, what sort of distance or closeness are you creating here as a group?
I mean, Gregor's carrying Arrow's rations, so.
Because each of you has
Dick,
like
so he hasn't been talking as much as he normally would.
each of you has some stuff going on, right? Like Arrow, you've got this weird thing with the ring and the brooch. Vori and Farron are both having nightmares, and Gregor has all this like weird stuff with his background that keeps getting pulled up.
Yeah, I think that Arrow is mostly quiet when it comes to journeying, especially if he's scouting up ahead. I would assume he spends a lot of his time by himself, and then kind of comes back to the group for when they break for meals or for the night. But I think that he would have probably addressed privately, separately, the nightmares that the two of these have been having, because he notices shit like that.
Mhm.
Like, and finds it kind of troublesome that it doesn't seem to be getting better.
Let's fast forward to that evening then. As you've all settled in for camp, Vori is conked out immediately, and Gregor, you're like tending to the fire, making sure it's okay, and you've got like a separate smoking fire that you're like trying to smoke some of the meat that Arrow managed to hunt today in hopes of like turning that into usable rations. So we see like Arrow and Farron next to the fire.
So I can't help but notice that you haven't been sleeping well.
Oh, me? Oh, I've been perfectly rested. Don't you worry.
You know, you don't need to pretend.
Pretend?
I can see you tossing in the night.
So you've been watching.
Of course, I always watch out for all of you.
Quite the touching sentiment there, dear Arrow. Yes, I have had a series of nightmares, childish thing to be bothered about. They're just dreams, after all.
Anything you want to discuss?
I must say this is new, you approaching me about discussing things. Can't say I dislike it.
It's just that we're already under bad circumstances, and if talking helps.
Well, I can't quite place the stuff with the nightmares, but I can't help but think that it's been coinciding with some other events that have impacted us as a group.
There is, each time that you have this dream, there's a pervasive sense of being like hunted.
It is like that same sense as when I looked at those things. I was not a person as I was so much prey. It is unpleasant. I don't like speaking of unpleasant things. It's so much better to focus on the good. The small little pleasures in life.
I just don't want it to affect you during the day. These things, even if it's just a dream, can stick with us and affect us.
Oh, well, has my performance been lacking recently?
We are lost.
Again, lost is one way to put it. Just finding detours, finding adventures, another.
Does this feel like adventure to you?
Well,
There's like a light rain coming down
Yeah.
on the whole camp.
well, adventure is not, as much as I like to paint it that way, adventure is not always glitz and glamour, is it?
Fair enough.
There's a reason it gets written out of the stories. if we are talking, how are you doing? It feels like a while since we've had to sit down and chat, a really first time ever.
I'm just peachy.
Ah, yes, I can tell by the sullen look in your eyes and the general sulk about you.
I guess I'm just sad.
Still mourning.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we all have to mourn at some point, and we all have to figure out ways to deal with it. Just don't let it get all up into your head.
I'll do my best.
Would you like to hear something I've been working on?
Yes, of course.
It's, you may have heard this around, but I've had to do a couple revisions. And he, pulls out the very fancy loot. And just kind of, does a couple of the tuning chords upon it. Yeah. Tweaks it a bit. And they kind of with the conspirator. Even Gregor hasn't heard the revision on this one yet. It's what I've been working on recently. It's been driving him mad. And they kind of settle probably against whatever post tree behind them, and starts singing. Hear my tale of the midnight fair, the justice she brings to these lands. She conquers the evil that plague our lives, with the land held gently in her hands. Her heart is as pure as the snow of her hair, but the strike of her blade hold true. Villains and monsters quiver alike when they see her in their view. Blessed by the moon and the stars, she shines with silver light. So when the darkness falls on her soul, she's Polaris guiding our night. And although her tale may end for today, her soul has now joined the sun. And all the gods and people know her story is far from done. Hear my tale of the midnight fair, the justice she brings to these lands. She conquers the evils that plague our lives, with the lands held gently in her hands.
Gregor, you can hear this. I think, Vore, maybe you awake from your restless sleep for just a short time. And a peal of thunder rolls across the land as the last ringing tones of the lute die out. And as the four of you look at each other, Arrow, your hand rises unbidden once more, as it has on many chance occasions, as you just forget over these few weeks, and your finger touches, instead of smooth enamel, as it has so many times, you feel a sharp, rough stone, and there's a sound of a chime that rings out across the room and across the clearing, and the glow from the gem blossoms out from it and sort of fills the clearing. And Vora, you sit up awake now, and there's a rushing sound, and all four of you, your vision goes out. The sound of the rain disappears. The chill of the night air fades from your senses. And you see a dark stone chamber worn away by hundreds of years of weathering and water, somewhere you can tell deep beneath the earth. And you see a tall figure, maybe 7 feet, with very pale skin, sort of gaunt elf-like features but stretched vertically, and wearing these long black silver-lined robes. They walk into the chamber and look around. In the center of this expansive cavern, you see a brazier, a bronze brazier, and the creature holds its hands out and starts speaking and chanting in a language that you don't know, you have never heard. And as they chant, power flows off of them and sort of stirs the dust along the floor. And with a burst, there's a flame that erupts in the brazier. And the creature reaches out and plucks a piece of the flame away, and moves it toward a vial. And as they do so, you see moss growing down along the creature's arm. And as they place the flame inside of this runed jar, flowers start to sort of spill out of it until they cork the bottle. And the creature pockets it, and you understand these words now, as you sort of adjust to the moment, as the creature says, "It is done. What we make next." They turn towards the entrance of the chamber, and you see another of these creatures, different now in golden robes. "What we make next will change our people forever." And that same rushing sound comes back to you, and you shock back into your respective bodies, and there these like motes of green-blue light are still hanging on the air for a moment before absorbing into your bodies.
What the hell was that?
We're all awake, right?
Can I still feel the stone?
Yeah, it's there. It is no longer glowing. The ring does still feel warm in proximity to it.
He just kind of has his hand still near it.
As you touch it, you feel a tug, not like a physical tug, but like a metaphysical tug from the ring toward the stone, and you're being asked a question that you can't quite identify, but it's a question of permission. How do you respond, Era?
I'm all in. Let's do it.
All right. The ring glows with a soft sort of moonlight, and the stone beneath your finger flakes away into nothingness, as the ring absorbs the power of the remaining power of the depleted no stone. And some things have happened. One, you have uncovered what the ring does, which is it disenchants and absorbs the power of magical items.
Woo!
So, Arrow, have a point of XP for disenchanting a magical item. And everyone else, the activation of the no stone hints upon the big hidden mechanic of this setting, which is that you have all gained a boon from this artifact, which we will go over when we get to the break later, because it's going to take you some time to get used to it and figure out how it works. But you also, anytime, and this is going to be a thing, anytime you activate a no stone, typically with the more powerful ones, this one's a little weaker, so you're all getting a small bonusy thing, but typically the person who activates a no stone will attain power, but the whole party, regardless, gets XP. So each of you, for activating a no stone, earns 7 points of experience.
Oh, hello, level
Whoa.
4.
Hello, level 3.
So yeah, and you know, chat, I agree with you. Dungeon World doesn't really have rules for that, but this is an Adventurers League Dungeon World. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So yes, I am going to award an extra point of experience to Farron for the song.
Yeah.
That was definitely worth it. So you can feel now, like, and Vori, your sickness is flushed from you. You are no longer ill. But each of you feels like this tingling under your skin. What do? It's still nighttime. The rain is still falling.
I'm sorry.
For what?
I should have mentioned it earlier that the ring felt strangely drawn to the stone.
No harm done, I guess. Gregor says as he's like investigating
Checking
himself, feeling kind of weird.
Or he just tries to do the flame thing just to make sure everything's in working order.
Fire's still on. Does the oven still turn on? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Does it still work? Okay, good. I'm fine.
Pilot lights out.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a moment where he's kind of like on off, on off. Everything seems in working order. I don't think there's any harm done. And I feel better. So there's that.
I will say that Vision probably had some particular significance to Vori, if he feels like sharing. He doesn't have to.
Is this
but-
particular significance that I know?
You probably have a hunch what that fire was.
Okay.
You like, you would see it, and that would be your assumption, right?
Sure.
You don't necessarily know for sure. Like, you haven't read in a book somewhere about these Eldrin making a fire, but
Okay.
it's pretty easy for you to connect those dots.
Yep. Did we all see that?
Tall guy and fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Wasn't entirely sure if that was just weird dreams and hallucinations again.
Again?
Well, nightmares lately. I've been stressed. That's the only thing I can think of. And sick.
Oh, I think we all saw it.
Okay, good.
What was it, though?
Interesting. I have a hunch, but I need some time to think it over. I'd rather not give misinformation.
I
But
think
keep it
we
in
can
mind.
handle it. If it's just a theory.
Well, more story than theory, I think.
A story.
The cats are in. The cats want to hear it.
it.
Yes, in the distance, a cat meows.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the wild cats of the plains.
Shh. Yes. Well, if we're still stuck here for a little while, I suppose I could indulge you.
It's rare we hear stories from anyone but Farron, so might be refreshing.
Oh, far be it from me to trample all over your territory, friend.
No, don't worry about it. Stories are fascinating from whoever storyteller is telling it.
Right. Well. Explain to me, because I'm dumb and forget everything, what I should be telling them.
So you have some options on how much information you want to share, right? So like your hunch,
Sure.
your suspicion here is that what you saw is what you know of as the fire of life,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
a magical fire that gives life, right? It's
Yay.
considered the source
The source of
life.
all. Yep.
is the theory, right? You could share why that is important to you, but
Okay.
you don't have to. Right? You
Cool.
could choose to keep that to yourself.
I'll give them the good once upon a time there was a fire that gave life. It's believed to be the source of all life. And it doesn't matter why I know this or why it's important to me. So he'll tell this story of this point of origin that it's believed to be the source of all life by certain groups. No names. It's that part is very glossed over.
I think
Just, some people believe that it's the source of all life. In some legends, it gets told around, etc., etc.
importantly for you, Farron, you've never heard this story before, which is sort of a rare occurrence, I imagine.
Yeah, very rare, and they're very interested. You can see that they actually are really listening in intently.
But that's as much as I've ever heard.
You said some people believe it. Do you
Yes.
believe it?
I would argue I'm proof of it.
I think we can get sort of like in our TV show version, we get a suspicious cut to the vial of ashes at Vori's belt.
It's just a theory, anyway. A story.
But stories tend to hold a bit of truth, at least. If not more.
Well, at this point, it's a grain of sand. I'll see if I can turn it into glass someday.
But it's there nonetheless.
Certainly.
So what? We just got front row tickets to the creation of everything.
Well, we got front row tickets to the creation of flowers, apparently. So that's nice. No stones tend to hold memories and things like that. So could be
I
worth
wonder-
chasing more of them.
I wonder where she got it.
That I don't know. She's had it for as long as you ever saw.
Yes.
It's a holy symbol of the church, so probably whenever she was given her armor would be my guess.
Would they give her something like this?
Honestly, I can think of someone who would have.
Oh, really?
Well, we weren't just communally raised in the church. We sort of had someone that tended to look after us more than most. I was always very fond of her. not so much me, but, well, I did that on purpose.
Are they still alive?
Oh, yes, as far as I know. If she's a knight errant, was a knight errant. I expect that was his doing. That being said, I will not show my face to the church. Better off they think me dead.
Well, I would like to see him.
Yes. Well, we're going to Two Rivers, so you probably can.
What's his name?
Hold on.
Bishop Kavanaugh.
Thank you.
Yeah.
First name? Did we give him?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
He might have a name in there. I'll look it up, but Kavanaugh is the name he goes by.
Kavanaugh. He's a bishop.
In Two Rivers?
Yes. It's where we were born.
Do you have any other family there?
I assume my parents might be alive somewhere, but
It's William Kavanaugh.
thank you.
Willie.
Oh.
What's up?
Bill. Bishop Bill.
Bill.
Bill Kavanaugh.
Oh, I love Bill.
Oh no.
Billy boy. Say hello.
I expect my parents are alive somewhere. Some fishing village or something. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I couldn't tell you who they were even if I saw them on the street.
Greg is gonna kind of raise a brow to that, but not gonna say much else.
I'll catch that look and just be like, oh, well, they gave us up to the church when we were babies.
You all should get some rest. I'll take the first watch.
I have had more than enough rest. I think I'm going to stay awake.
Oh shit, the meat!
It's burnt and soaking wet.
Oh no! We're so good at food!
The rest of your night can pass without event. Vori, you have given me a gift.
So many gifts.
In the form of Bishop William Kavanaugh.
Oh boy.
Would you like a point of experience, or would you like to make a bond with Bishop Kavanaugh?
I have some catching up to do, so I think XP.
I will also remind you that bonds are eventual XP.
Yeah. All right. Fine. I'll take a friggin' bond.
You don't have to. It's your call. I'm just letting you know it's not like if you get a bond, you just never get XP. It's a question of, do you want the point right now, or would you rather have that relationship with a character and then get XP for it later?
Sure. We'll go bond.
Okay.
Bishop Bill is going into my character sheet.
God damn it.
FYI.
I hate that I said
Billiam.
Billiam.
that.
Billiam.
Bish Billiam.
Billy the Bish.
Billy Cav the Bish. Just making
Bish,
this worse and
please.
worse.
I feel like this is like a late night sleepover joke.
All right.
Listen,
I think everybody's asleep, and then somebody just goes, Billy the Bish.
And with that, we go to our commercial break.
Oh.
So we're at the top of the hour, so we're gonna take a 10-minute break, step away, refresh on water, and I'm gonna talk to these folks about what expansion they get to their abilities, and then when we come back, we will see the last leg of their journey to Two Rivers, and hopefully, fingers crossed, their arrival there. So See you
We
soon.
somehow arrive in one piece.
Yeah. Welcome back to episode 5 of From Dust. We return the following morning, I think, and I want to start with Farron, and I want to start with your dreams.
Great.
Have fun.
Farron, as a child, where did you spend most of your time?
I would have spent most of my time sitting at the cliff's edge, overlooking the water, and just kind of plucking their very makeshift, basically a little uke, essentially.
Mm-hmm. So we see you sitting on these cliffs at night. The sound of the waves lapping against the edge of the sea. Sort of a soft song coming off of the lute, and then there's like a twang, like an out of tune twang from the lute, as you play the wrong chord. But you look up now, like you were engrossed in your playing, and you look up, and the sounds of the wind rushing over the grass behind you seems distant and quiet to you. And looking up at the sky, you can't see the stars. What do you do?
Oh. Farron kind of stand up and brushes themselves off. Kind of like squints at the sky.
Yeah. Looking closer now, so instead of at the horizon, up into the sky, the moon also is gone, and the plains feel like they're stretching away from you, sort of like in in movies where the distance gets stretched out as the focus is pulled.
Yeah, they turn around and look back at their home.
You see the town, and as you watch, you see a shadow falling over the town, and as it falls, the lights wink out. It is moving toward you.
Farron seeing this encroaching shadow kind of swallowing up all the lights. Starts running towards home.
As you reach the edge of town, the entire place has gone dark, and you see standing, almost waiting for you, at the gate, is a tall figure shrouded in darkness, wearing a billowing, foggy black coat. Hello, Rory. Did you miss me?
That's... I think you... My name's Farron.
How strange. The figure shifts toward you and looms up, like twisting around you. Not just one person anymore. And the face draws close, and if this were a person, you could see their figures clearly, but all you see is this shifting, smoky implication of a head. But you're mine too, Farron. I found you. It's only a matter of time. Tick. Tock. And you start awake. It's the morning, birds are singing, and across the camp from you, where he was leaning up against a tree, you see Vori also. Vori, you were back at the mountaintop again, as you have been for so many nights now. Different places, different rooms, but always followed.
He's gonna stand up and pace a good quick circle to just wake the hell up.
Yeah, you like wring your hands and like shake out the yayas. As you do so, I think for a moment there's like a tuft of flame from your palm and your wrist as it forms a small blade for a moment. Like,
Is anybody else awake?
Arrow probably, right? Arrow's always awake.
I'm
I
always
think
awake.
Gregor is asleep next to the smoking apparatus with like there's some treated leather wrapped around the meats from last night. He's like laying on top of it, like keeping it covered.
He'll nudge Gregor awake with his foot, just kind of like a light kick. Hey. It's not exactly
Hey.
the safest place to sleep.
I really
Or-
didn't want to screw this up.
You enjoy that smoky flavor burned into your nostrils forever?
Felt real bad about ruining the other rations, so
It's
figured
fine. We'll
important to get
live.
these right. Wow, that
Anyway,
is
just-
really smoky.
Have a drink of water. He'll toss him a water skin.
Yeah, thank you. Like once like he gets like the purifying aspects of the water, and then he's like, gosh. And I smoke.
Oh. Maybe lay off the pipe for a few days.
Yeah, maybe.
Where's Arrow? Is he around?
He tends to disappear early in the morning.
That's fair.
Morning scouting.
It's just
He'll
some chicken to
show
walk
up.
about.
It's good to go
Anyway.
before the sun's all the way up.
Anyway, just figured you didn't want to wake up with your face in ashes.
Nah, that's I appreciate that. So, weird day yesterday, huh?
That's a way to put it. And he's
Well.
still kind of pacing a little bit. Like, he's got this restless energy about him that he's trying to downplay by making it a leisurely pace. But he very clearly has no wish to settle down as he walks. And he's kind of occasionally rubbing his hands, and there's a little spark of blue sometimes.
You're all right there.
Fine, just, sometimes a little restless. It's just nervous energy.
I have been walking around in circles for a little bit while. I know I'm been kind of itching for a fight. Take some of that energy out on some harpies, right?
That's the idea.
Yeah.
If we ever
yeah,
get there.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. And Farron, well, sometimes some mornings looks disheveled, always in the, nice disheveled ways. This is not.
Woke up like this, hashtag.
Exactly. This one's a little, like, you can note dark circles under their eyes now.
Rise and shine, beautiful.
Of course, of course. Well, how did you all rest? Gregor, you have a bit of a... kind of, you know...
Well, that's what you get for sleeping in the fire pit.
Gosh, it's like
You slept in the fire pit.
He was trying his hardest and isn't getting that far.
Just smearing this ash all around. It's great exfoliant.
Charcoal activated.
Yup.
You slept in the fire pit, Gregor.
I know. I'm really dedicated to my work.
I wouldn't have insinuated otherwise.
Y'all better enjoy this, okay?
I'm sure it will be most delightful and most smoky. Obviously, I like things burnt. It's kind of a thing with me.
You don't say. Well, guess once Arrow gets back, we'll be on our merry way.
Sounds like a plan.
I know I'm a little sick of being here.
Yeah, I think he's walking back into camp.
When you come back, you've got like 2 pheasants by the ankles.
Ah, has breakfast arrived? How nice.
It has.
You take such good care of us.
I do my best.
Yeah, one of you can cook them.
I don't think you want me doing that.
I'll do it.
Bori would do it the most direct way possible.
Whoosh! Cooked.
Flambe.
Very well done.
Yeah, he spends time cleaning them and cooking for everybody.
While other people make a brisket, Vori makes a briquette.
Don't ask him to do anything domestic, okay? It won't end well.
All right, so is there anything else you would like to do before setting out?
Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Get me out of the wilderness.
You get back
Civilization pulls.
on the road after a couple days of just floundering. You do manage to find one of the rivers leading up to the city named for them, and you can follow that the rest of the way for about a week. You did end up expending all of the rations, all 30 of those. And you arrive later than you had intended. But fortunately, with Arrow looking out for you and catching game where possible, and once you reach the river, being able to fish, you managed to get there without starving to death. But it's probably like a week and a half later than you intended to get to Two Rivers. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But when you get there, Two Rivers lays at the bottom of this shallow valley, surrounded on 2 sides by 2 very large rivers that sort of make a natural moat for the city, and then branching off, like the rivers get diverted into these canals that spider through the various districts of the city. Its walls are tall and made of this like white stone that shines brilliantly in the coastal sun. And sitting central to the city is a large keep, and then nearby that is a large contrasting building that stands sort of like as just one big block of uniform stone, which you recognize as the Church of the Reformation. Vorya's favorite.
Your favorite place.
Yeah.
Let's go visit, get a souvenir.
Yeah, as y'all walk into town, he definitely, like, his eyes find that building and he immediately just looks like he tasted something incredibly foul.
You don't have to go.
Good.
It's gonna
And
be
there's
all
still
right.
that kind of restless motion, but there's a spark but once, and then he's quickly separating his hands. Well, shall we go?
Let's go.
See what we can find out.
It's taken us long enough to get here.
Yes.
Say that again.
Let's not think about it ever again.
If you don't mind, Farron, from here on out, I'll do the navigation.
I wouldn't put it in any other hands, really.
Certainly not your own.
They're not going to say that, though.
Maybe I'll take the rations next time, just to lighten the load on you, Gregor.
He's gonna kind of smirk and be like, "Thank you."
Of course.
Oh, also, was it Gregor looks like shit.
Oh.
Gregor's real tired from this.
We need a proper place to stay. Rest up a bit.
I want
we
a
do.
hot bath.
Shall we find an inn, get ourselves in order, and then we can explore the town?
Figure out this harpy situation.
Yes.
As you approach, the smells of the ocean and the calls of coastal birds come to you. And Farron, I imagine this is somewhat nostalgic for you. You've been in Sanctuary a long, long time.
Yep.
Which is on a river, not like a day or two from a lake, but still, it's not the same. What do we see looking at Farron as you like come up on these gilded gates with their banners flying in the wind? This like mix of nostalgic coastal atmosphere with this strong, like very human aesthetic.
There's a bit of a kind of quirk at the corner of Farron's mouth. You're not sure if it's supposed to be a smile or a frown. But kind of... Well, seems like we found civilization.
If you could call it that.
Hey, Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thing.
You do.
What's the fact about the history of this location?
Okay, hold on. Let me page
Tell
on
me.
over to a port in the storm. When you return to a civilized settlement you visited before.
Or even just even as an elf.
Oh, when you enter an important location. There we go. You recall you can ask the GM for one fact about the history of that location. Okay. You want to know
Give me
one
a
thing
fact.
about Two Rivers. Two Rivers is an interesting city. It stands here on the coast, and it used to be part of a larger nation. If I remember correctly, it was called Dobovan, before, the Reformation and Asylum shook the whole world up. But when Dobovan fell, when it crumbled underneath the weight of widespread revolution and religious unrest as people turned against the previous Church of the Juaki, Two Rivers managed to stand strong on its political convictions initially. The city had a strong government that sort of kept order, but then as word of what the asylum had done spread following the disturbing news of the origin of all people, that they had been created by this creepy, long dead civilization, and that everything they knew about their gods was wrong, right? Following that, the stories of Asylum and how they had sort of saved the world from this brink. As that news hit Two Rivers, a religion started up, and the Church of the Reformation started here in Two Rivers. So the primary cathedral, that large brutalist block structure in the center of Two Rivers, is sort of the headquarters of the church these days. And so while Sanctuary holds an important spot as the actual seat of Asylum, where they held rule for a time before journeying off into the lands to make sure that the world in general was taken care of, this place stood as sort of the funneling point for everyone who from elsewhere that wanted to get to Sanctuary or get goods from Sanctuary or to Sanctuary. Everything passed through Two Rivers, so it is a pretty powerful place. And as you reflect on the history of this place, you come upon a tavern some blocks off from the waterfront, far enough away that it doesn't smell like fish, called the Tilted Tern, Tern.
That is a step up from the raunchy goblin.
Look, I didn't name that one, okay?
It's fine.
And as you enter, it's probably midday, sometime around 2 p.m. And there are already people inside. It's not rowdy, but it's energetic, let's say.
Are these the day drinkers?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, most of them are sailors that are in on leave.
Then they're fine.
Arrow would push his way to the bar to get rooms for all of them.
Okay. The innkeep here is somewhat waifish elf fellow by the name of Lathron Sileth. I'll type that into Roll20 chat for you and the viewers.
Thanks.
And he introduces himself. Hello, I'm the innkeep, Lathron, and you are...
Arrow.
Holds your hand, over familiarly. It's a pleasure to meet you. Are you new to town?
Just arrived.
Wonderful. So I assume you'll be looking for rooms?
Yes, sir. The four of us.
How many rooms would that be?
He kind of looks back at them well, here's the deal.
What's the cost of the rooms?
Let me ask the GM. Just a moment.
Let me ask the general manager.
Yes. A week stay. This is not the fanciest inn in town. Mm-hmm. So a week stay at a civilized inn is 30 minus charisma coins.
Well.
So do I have to +1 coins for my -1 charisma?
That would technically be how it goes. I would let
Okay.
Farron negotiate the prices.
I was gonna say, either let Farron or Vori do the negotiating, please.
Yeah.
It would actually... no, it would be minus... It's the stat, not the bonus.
Oh, okay.
So it's 30
Minus
minus
8.
the stat.
What's your charisma, gorgeous?
It's a 16.
Same.
Okay, so it's 14 coins. Per person. Or
Neat.
per room, rather.
14 coins.
We could probably split into 2 rooms.
Sure, why not?
So that'll be
just
2
kind
rooms.
of interested and just kind of nods.
2 rooms. If you would.
Very
please.
well. Gladly. Will you be needing any further assistance? Any food, drink, directions?
I want a hot bath, sir.
I think that can be arranged. We'll have a tub taken up to your room.
It's
Awesome.
not a bad idea. 1 for each room, then. We'll sort it out from there.
Very well.
I'll throw him 28 gold.
All right. He'll sweep it off of the counter, and you hear it jingle somewhere. He reaches under and pulls like two keys with wooden wooden bits on them with numbers. Here are your keys. Please enjoy your stay at the Tilted Turn.
Much obliged. I'll take the keys and toss one to Farron. And keep the other, and y'all get to sort this out.
Yeah, I like the idea of everybody just standing outside the rooms, just looking out the doors. Like,
Like,
Who's going where?
So,
that's a great question. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So
shall we go sort ourselves out upstairs?
yeah, let's do that.
So you have 2 rooms that are next to each other on the 3rd floor. I think this inn has like a common room floor and then two floors of lodgings. So you're up on the top floor, which gives you a nice view of the. Well, if you were on the right side of the building, it would give you a nice view of the waterfront, but instead it gives you a nice view of the buildings behind the inn. And you have 2 rooms. They're next to each other. There's only 1 bed in each room.
Cool.
Well, I sleep on the floor most nights anyway. so-
Peek inside one of the rooms. Oh, well. There's just 1 bed.
I've shared beds with many a person. I mind.
I mean, come on, we sleep on the same grass together.
That's fair.
So the 2 of you want to share a bed.
Is what you're saying.
Farron
Is
and
what you're
Gregor.
saying.
You know what? Like, it probably happened in the past. Let's be real.
But just a private, they both have that same flashback to the many times they've shared a bed. Oh
Great.
god.
So, you 2?
Why not?
My
I'm not
apologies,
picky.
Arrow. Apparently, it's you and me.
It's fine by me.
Well
All
then.
right. After a time, some tubs are taken up, filled with steaming water, and brought to the 2 rooms for you to wash yourselves with. What do you do after you've gotten all settled in? You've like unpacked. You pulled out the drawers, put your socks in there.
Got settled in, scrubbed up.
Yeah,
Um,
looked to see what was on the TV.
I think
checked the room service booklet.
I think that over the past few weeks that we've been traveling, Arrow has gotten into this weird routine of like scouting ahead, and I think that being in always being inside makes him feel pretty restless anyway. I think that he would want to basically scout out the city.
Okay.
Do a big ol' walk around.
Go on a walkabout.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All on my lonesome.
So Arrow goes off to be Arrow. What about the rest of you?
Something I want to mention. So, at some point, Farron has probably seen this already. So, when Gregor takes his bath or whatever, a little bit of detail. So he isn't horribly brutalized, but if there's a part of his body, there's probably a scar on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on his back, and like I said, Farron has probably seen this before, is a very large tattoo that, depending on how you look at it, either looks like a large gate or like iron bars for like a jail window.
That's
Interesting.
hardcore.
So we get a shot of that. Is Farron? Are the two of you comfortable enough with each other that like Farron would be hanging out with Gregor while he takes a bath?
Yeah,
I mean,
Farron.
I think
Yeah.
Are you like
Farron is comfortable enough. I don't
Yeah.
know. if
Are you
Gregor
just
is.
like-
Farron has no fucking
Aaron's
chance.
fine.
Farron's
Are you-
towels dropped,
Are you hanging?
air drying.
You're just hanging out and chatting while Gregor's like
Yeah.
got this loofah.
Imagine Gregor's more like passed out in the tub, like.
Yeah. It's probably happened enough times that Farron's just there to make sure that he doesn't like slip into the tub.
Pass out and drown.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I guess the main detail with this is Farron would know that the tattoo means something in regards to Gregor's history.
Right.
That's
Yep. That's all.
All right. Vori, you take an undisturbed bath while
Yep.
Arrow is off doing his stuff. You just sort of like relax and
The water gets a little cold. I'll
bit.
just heat it back up.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes. We see you leaning in the tub with your eyes closed and then like whoosh from one of your hands and like
Yup.
the water bubbles.
Yep.
And I guess let's follow Arrow for a bit as you walk through town. So
This child has never seen the ocean.
yeah, you've never seen the ocean. You've never been to Two Rivers. Probably the only big city you've been to is Sanctuary, which is like Sanctuary is very spread out. It's got a lot of lower, like shorter buildings, and then the Eldrin towers throughout the city. But Two Rivers is weird because it's like all built up on this hill. So there are lots of like taller buildings, 2 to 3 stories through most of the city. And the atmosphere is just different. Sanctuary, most people in Sanctuary are pretty brusque, right? Like it's not a city where you make a lot of friends with strangers. But here people are like openly acknowledging your existence and like waving or like nodding and like smiling, just recognizing that you're a person. Whereas in Sanctuary, they just like look at the ground, look at the sky, look away from people.
Yeah.
What's that like for you?
I think the first like 5 or 6 times that someone acknowledges him, he kind of like looks at him sideways, like kind of weird. He doesn't know exactly,
Like, do
is
I
this
know you?
normal? Do I know them? Like he, but eventually he kind of figures it out and is offering like kind of timid waves back at people when they're like passing in the street. But I think he's kind of just like really like transfixed on seeing the ocean. Like that's what he's like, that's his goal. He's head straight to the coast.
Okay, so we see you walking, and as you get closer to the docks, the streets get sort of clogged with people, and so we see you in this tumult of variously colored cloth and like pack animals and carriages and wagons and this ever increasing din, and then you break through the crowd and out onto the waterfront, and you just see, stretching as far as your elf eyes can see, the sparkling blue expanse of the ocean. You see these huge ships. Some of them the wood and sail that we as viewers have come to expect from fantasy settings, but several also of like dark iron with smokestacks standing out from them. And it's I mean, it's just wild. I think. Is this overwhelming for Arrow? Like, is this too much for him?
I don't know. I think it could be.
Do you want to make a roll for it?
Sure.
I think we could. Ooh, yeah, we can make this a defy danger. This is defy danger with wisdom. So with your force of will, this is to see if you can keep your wits about you on the busy wharf.
Or if I just fall in.
That's not the risk here.
Okay,
Gosh, what's he gonna
thank
do
you.
if we get him on a boat?
Oh man.
Not like it, I'll tell you that. Okay, here we go.
Jesus. Well, mark
Listen,
experience.
I came here to win this game, and I will
Yeah.
take experience at every turn, every
You came
twist and
here.
turn.
You came here to reach max level in every class.
That's what I came here to do.
That's your
I was a
goal.
very multi-talented boy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't had to describe sensory overload to people before, but it's sort of like you can tell that there's stuff happening around you. Like intellectually, you understand that, but you just stop processing it, and you have this sort of dissociative moment where like you're walking down the street, but you're not telling your legs to move. It's just sort of happening to you. And at first it was wondrous, but you just sort of like everything dims down and narrows in, and you get this tunnel vision. And in that, you... Yes. You bump into a person, and you sort of like shake your head, and everything's like sort of underwater. You can tell that there's a person there, and you can hear what they're saying, but unless you're focusing on one person at a time right now, you're not really able to. I think this is the condition for wisdom confused.
Yeah.
I think you're confused. I think that is a fair shake.
Yeah, it feels nice.
And as you look at this person, they like swear at you, and then they turn back to the street and they, are reading off of this scroll. Hear ye, strange creatures sighted near the forests of Elisurdren. All are warned to avoid traveling there until the armies can take care of any disturbances. What do you do?
Oh God. Well, I don't want to get in trouble, but I think this is what he would do. I think he'd go grab the scroll.
Just grab the paper out of this person's hands.
Let me
Yeah.
All right, grab it, and you like faintly hear somebody yelling near you as you read the scroll.
Yeah.
It's an assortment of news, things that are important topics. It's a town crier. And what you'll gather is what he just said, some sort of strange creatures in the region of the forest of Elisurdren, which of course people don't know what's in there, they just know it's a forest. And people are advised like not to go to White Spire Academy without guards. You also get that, speaking of the Bonds Magi, presumably somebody came into town with news from that region recently, because they also mention, let me see, come on, roll 20. The Bonds Magi claim that they've discovered an arcane weave that reaches across the whole of Kalimna. But further research is required. And then some boring gossip about names you don't recognize.
Yeah. Basically, as soon as he's done getting what he wanted from it, which is the confirmation of Elisurdren being mentioned, he kind of just hands it back. And I think he can hear he feels himself saying that sorry or apologizing in some way. but can't hear it.
Yeah.
I think this whole time, like once this kind of overwhelmed feeling begins, he's just like spinning the ring on his finger. And I think, yeah, he would like try to find his way back to the inn.
Okay. Yes. Yes, one moment. I would like you to roll plus wisdom?
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to get your way back to the tavern.
Sure. 10.
10, yeah. So you push through the crowd, and I think you get like increasingly urgent as you do so. You're like pushing people to the side, and
Claustrophobia to the max for my sweet forest child.
once you break through the crowd and onto the street where the inn is, Lake will come and land on your shoulder. And then you sort of like, you still, like, you haven't recovered, and you probably won't until you get some sleep. But that sort of grounds you and sets the panic at bay. As you stumble back into the rowdy common room of the tilted turn, and then up the stairs to your room, where, Vori, you have finished your bath.
Yeah, he's probably gotten himself dressed again and is not dealing with the length of time it takes to really tie up that braid. He's just kind of tying it into a ponytail at the back of his neck instead, and combing it out. Are you all right?
Erlich stumbles in and then closes the door and puts his back to it.
What's chasing you?
Nothing.
Why don't you sit down and rest a little? You look harried. Do you want a bath? Could refill it, heat it up.
No, I'm all right. I just need to sit down. And I think he sits down right on the spot.
He'll go over and just kind of like, come on, and like guide him to the bed. Why don't you take the bed for right now? You look like you could use
So
it.
soft.
I don't mind the floor.
I know you don't. I don't mind the floor either. It's a very nice floor, but why don't you sleep on a bed right now? It's not going to kill you.
Yeah, he nods and just kind of lays down.
Yeah, Lake will like hop onto the headboard.
Yeah,
He
he
just
like
kind of-
reaches up and touches her.
He gives Arrow just like a little pat on the chest. Good boy. Do you want a drink? Anything? I'll go downstairs, get you something, calm your nerves.
No, I'm all right.
All right. Well, you've got your friend here, so that's enough, I'm sure. Gonna go see what the other two are up to. You gonna be all right by yourself?
Always am.
Right.
What are the other two up to?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What's going on in that room?
I think at some point, when Nefera knows the water will be going cold, it's been a while, just strum a little too loudly on the lute to wake Gregor up.
Twang.
I'm good. Oh wow, and pruny.
You've been in there quite some time, my friend.
Oh gosh, I didn't sleep very good.
Well, you slept enough.
Yeah, he's like climbing
Fire
like,
pit.
that weird feeling of when you've been sitting in water, so now your body has just absorbed water. So Gregor's like feeling extra heavy
Yeah.
as he's like trying to get himself out of the tub.
There's a knock at the door.
Gosh.
Hello?
need to get that.
1 second, I'm indecent.
Oh, well, let me open the door right now. But he waits.
And Gregor actually, very comfortable with Farron, actually very panically and very hurriedly dries himself off and gets himself covered, opens the door, and is just kind of like, "Hey, Vori."
Oh, so cash.
Yeah.
Have a nice bath?
Oh yeah, wonderful.
Good. He'll kind of look over beyond. Gregor, how are you doing in there? Decent? Or as decent as you'll ever be?
Yeah, Ferris got like the loot, is like lounging on the bed.
Huh. Well, I don't know what Arrow was doing, but he's a little out of sorts. He came back kind of... He needs some rest, I
Does he
think.
seem like sick?
No, I think he's just a little overwhelmed by this place.
Well,
Seems a little weird considering
I
we were
say he
in
does kind
Sanctuary.
of prefer the news and he just kind of prefer the woods and stuff. So it's probably a bit much for him.
Yes, I'll bring him up some food later.
That's a good call.
Speaking of, though, shall we get ourselves something to eat and then sort things out?
Yeah, I could eat.
That sounds lovely. And as Farron kind of gets up, swings the loot back on the back, so you just kind of take a moment to just look at Voy. It's the
something on
wrong
my
way.
face? What?
And she kind of strides up right into Voy's personal space and kind of undoes a couple of stuff. It's like, you're supposed to put them right over left and not left over right.
Oh. Oh. Well, thank you.
And also, like, just kind of straighten something.
Yeah, needless to say, like, the cravat, he is not even bothering to tie it. It just kind of hangs.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. If you're going to invest in nice clothing, you might as well actually wear them properly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. He's just, like, kind of letting Farron do this, but he sort of looks like a put-upon child at this point. He's just like, okay, fine.
And, like, it's not quite perfectly straight, because that's for nerds. It's like...
Right.
Yeah, stylishly tilted.
just, like, you know, the right amount of casual.
Just a nice little tilt.
Yeah. A jaunty cravat.
Yep. Right then. Thank you. Down we go.
Yeah. So you head down, and I think we're at the top of the hour. So I think we see sort of a notice board, and there are all sorts of like little bits of parchment in various states of legibility. But right in the middle, clearly printed and with like a stamp and seal on it, we see a decree from the ducal office of Two Rivers, awarding 100 pieces of gold to anyone who brings the head of a harpy to the constabulary. These harpies can be found along the coast and the cliffs to the south, and any brave enough to do so shall also be awarded such glories and praise as is due those who serve their city. And with Gregor glancing at that as you walk toward the bar to ask for food, you're going to go to our third and final break of the night. So, step away for just a little bit. When we come back, we shall see what these brave hunters can achieve. See you soon. Welcome back to episode 5 of From Dust, I think we can progress to the next day, probably.
Yeah.
If nobody has a thing that they want to do. Arrow, go ahead and clear your confusion. You have recovered. So are you heading out to try and like hunt down some harpies? Is that the plan?
How far out from town is that?
It's probably like at most you'd be like a day out, a day back.
Okay, so we should
Yeah.
probably get some rations.
Yeah, let's get some rations.
Yeah,
Five
you're
things.
Dungeon rations.
How much were those again?
They're 3 gold each.
3 gold each. Thank you.
One weight.
And they have 3 uses each, right?
Oh,
5.
5.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you have a full week of time booked at the inn, so
Yeah, cool.
you're covered for
And just
that.
so you know, I did buy both of the rooms.
Aw,
I took that on my gold.
What a guy.
What does Arrow need with money?
he's just like such a spender.
Yeah. Hey, big spender.
Yeah, the one person who doesn't give a fuck about money has probably the most.
Listen, I have money, but nobody's asked me to pay for anything yet.
And I won't. I'll spend all my money while I have it. Perfect. Are y'all buying your own rations, or do you want to?
I paid for my own.
I
Okay.
just paid for my own.
Cool.
Okie doke. So we see you heading out the southern gate. I guess actually let's take a look at the map. Where is Two Rivers? Okay, not south. By south I meant east yesterday. So east. Sorry, coastlines are hard. I'm used to coastlines only being north south facing
Yeah.
because San Francisco.
Which way?
They also like this coast is on the wrong side of a map for me. The ocean is always on the left. So I
So you're
don't
just
know.
constantly scrolling left, like, where is it?
Where's the ocean? Yeah. So you head east out from the city for about a day. I think is this worth? Yeah, this is worth a perilous journey check. I think because you're not wandering aimlessly. You know where you're going.
Well, I
Yeah.
can do 2 of them now.
So you've
I
got one
leveled up.
person that can take care of 2 jobs. This is
Mm-hmm.
a 1 ration trip.
Okay.
I'll
So-
take
Um,
care of the rations, I guess.
You
I
will.
said I would.
Okay. So
we plus 10.
yeah, you get 10 plus on your 2 jobs, Arrow. So for chat, because you took that advance during a
Right.
break, some level ups happened, and Arrow picked up. What did you pick up? What's it called?
It's called Follow Me. When you undertake a perilous journey, you can take 2 rolls. You make a separate roll for each. But I also have that when I take a roll, because of my half elf fishness, I automatically succeed as if I rolled a 10 plus.
Yeah. So you're fine on that. So trailblazing and scouting handled. For Vori, handling the food, I need you to. You're gonna have to roll plus wisdom. But is somebody helping Vori deal with the rations and whatnot?
I will help you with what wisdom I do have.
All
Gregor
right.
can
did a
show you
really-
what not to
I
do.
did a really good job last time. I did this, I
Let me show
promise.
you what I did so you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Here's
Uh,
everything I did. Learn from my mistakes.
Go ahead and roll plus bonds with Vori then, Gregor. Do you have any?
Right.
We don't
I
have
don't
any
think
yet.
I don't
Not
think you
yet.
do. Okay.
So 0.
Yeah.
Well, we. There we go.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, no, you have learned, okay, from the mistakes of the past. And you I think you helped by being like, okay, what are all the things I should have had? Like waterproof bags and this and that and this and that. And then you like made sure to go out and get those before you left the city.
Gregor's gonna put a hand on Vori's shoulder and like dead serious be like, "Don't be me."
Fortunately, that seems very impossible.
And Vori, go ahead and roll Undertake a Perilous Journey, but with a +1.
Okay. What? I don't actually have that in my moves list.
It's plus Wisdom.
Okay. Let's just add.
So a 9.
that.
Okay.
Yay!
That just means you do fine. You do as expected.
Yay.
You don't get the extra special 10+ bonus for doing well on the provisions thing, as you use one less ration than you would otherwise. But you do just fine. The normal number of rations are consumed. The Trailblazer reduces the amount of time it takes to reach your destination, because that's a 10+, and the Scout will spot any trouble quick enough to let you get the drop on it, which also is a 10+. So you make it to the cliffs in record time. I think, Arrow, you find like a hidden game trail that goes away from sort of the winding coastal road, and heads off through these sort of rocky hills until you can reach the cliffs. And the cliffs rise up, the terrain goes down toward a beach with the cliffs rising up. It's sort of a rocky, pebbly beach, and the cliffs are made of a rough gray stone. But as you approach, you can see up in sort of these caves on the cliff, you see strange humanoid creatures. They are they're like people, but they have wings. Let me just do a quick check. Yeah, where they would have arms, like human arms, they instead have wings sprouting from their shoulders. And they all appear conventionally female, wearing sort of like necklaces and jewelry of bone and seashell, sort of perched with these talons at the edge of these caves. What do you do?
Does there seem to be a clear path up to them?
I think you're gonna have to. There isn't something that jumps out. You'd have to look around.
Yeah, that's fine. He would try and look for an easier way for them to go up, because he knows that they could climb. But obviously, looking for any way that they can get up there that wouldn't require so much physical labor, and then on top of that, a fight. So yeah.
Go ahead and roll discern realities.
Okay. Could I use command?
Mm-hmm.
I think that. Well, let me check to see if it's trained in this.
I believe scouting is a thing that Lake is trained in. Because that's what you had her do first.
Mm-hmm. Searching,
yeah.
Yeah, so I can add her cunning to my roll.
Yeah.
If I have her help me. So that's a +1.
All right.
Okay. And you said defy or discern realities?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're like studying the area, looking for a clear path up.
Okay. So we'll add a 1 to this. Still a 6.
Ooh.
Well, you guys know me.
You've got nothing. I mean, take experience, Arrow. Yeah. Yeah, so when I eventually design a take experience sticker, it's just gonna have an arrow. This would be like the words with an arrow through them. Okay, yeah, mark XP, but the GM gets to do stuff because you failed. You're poking around and you can't quite find a way up, but unfortunately you are making enough noise and moving around enough that the harpies spot you, and you see several of them sort of like lean off their perches and swoop down, heading toward you.
Oh, I draw my bow immediately.
All right. What do the rest of you do?
Firebrand time.
He's like tracking them with his bow.
So you're summoning a fiery weapon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, gonna do the thing.
Yeah. Roll it.
All right.
Well,
Doesn't suck.
you were saying that you were itching for a fight.
All right.
Cool.
So you get to choose two.
Sweet. I should probably remove the dangerous tag.
Probably.
And we'll go,
You don't have to.
well,
Dangerous for them.
yeah, we'll remove the dangerous tag and go with +1 damage.
Okay. So that means its range is touch. So you have to be in very close range in order to use it.
Actually, can I renege that? Because I forgot about that. What the
Yes.
actual default range is on it. Sorry.
Yeah, so the default range is touch, like your hand is enveloped in fire. You could also go with hand, which like it forms into a weapon, or thrown, which is it forms into some form of like a spear or a javelin or something.
And it's got 3
'cause-
uses.
Yeah, thrown and near. So near is like not long range, but
Yeah, so like a standard spear or javelin, like you said. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
go with that. And removing the dangerous tag, I guess.
okay. So like this, you pull from your hand this
Yeah, you just kind
flaming
of-
blue spear.
Yeah, just kind of claps a fist against his hand and the weapon
Fuck
just
yeah.
erupts into blue flame.
Gregor's
Still
like,
in his
whoa.
And is in the
Alright.
battle stance.
Gregor, what about you?
Not being super talented in the range department, Gregor's gonna let the shooters and the casters have their moment, and instead Gregor's just gonna like stand ready in defense, prepared for if they get in close.
Okay, so you're just putting yourself up, and who are you
Yeah.
like trying to stand in front of?
Guess we'll go with Barons, because the other two can defend themselves a little bit better.
Okay.
Only if
That's
the
very
damage
true.
is
No,
on.
not against you,
very
Farron.
true.
You're not wrong.
Oh,
It's also like my bond and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll
So,
be
Oh, I got you, Boo.
fine.
I'll
so
protect all of you.
this harpy. I think there are 4 of them swooping towards you right now, Arrow, and one of them is like pulling up, flaring out the wings with the talons reaching for you. What do you do?
Let's shoot it.
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot it.
I'm gonna shoot it. And I'm gonna use block out the sun, which is when I volley, I may spend extra
So-
ammo before rolling,
So what is Arrow doing?
shooting all of them.
Please be a bit more descriptive. What does that
He's
look like?
loading
Does he
up.
does he knock multiple arrows? Does he
4
shoot
arrows,
very
yes.
quickly? Or
Nope. He knocks 4 arrows at once.
okay.
Legolas, that shit.
Absolutely.
So we see you like go down on one knee for stability, knock the arrows, pull back, and
Side blast.
yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
Is he firing the bow gangsta style?
Yes! Going
I mean,
for
that's
that
really
kill
the,
shot.
really the only way you can shoot multiple arrows at a
That's
time? 'Cause
true.
otherwise, one of
Yeah.
them's going to the ground,
Yeah,
right?
you
true.
can't stabilize all. You have to use gravity.
You need a horizontal spread.
So yeah, I can spend an ammo and roll volley to shoot all of them,
So,
and I do it.
oh my god. Okay,
Get
so you're
wrecked.
spending
Get
you're
wrecked,
spending
Harpies.
three ammo here.
No, I think. Oh yeah, just kidding. Wait. Hmm.
Yeah, because you spend
Oh
one
yeah,
ammo
choose an
per
extra
target.
target. Yeah. That's fine. Yes. So I'm spending 3 ammo, and I'm shooting all of them. So
Okay,
let me roll damage really quick.
and then I think you roll for each one, right?
Roll once and apply damage to all targets.
Okay.
So just
Sounds good.
damage.
Go ahead and roll your damage. 6. Okay, so that's. Where's my notebook? There we go. All right.
I'm really glad I stocked up on ammo.
All right. So the your arrows fly out from your bow and catch them. One of them in the wing, another like directly in the sternum. Another in the thigh, and then the one that's coming up to you, your arrow flies from like the center of your bow and like up into her gut, and she like cries out and flaps back to like get some distance from you for a moment instead of following through with the attack. What else is going on? What are people doing? Turn order isn't a thing in Dungeon World, so you can just say that you're doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Probably see Vori getting ready to do whatever.
Mhm.
That's an
Who
accurate
knows?
statement.
What?
Farron doesn't really know what Vori does.
Apparently, he summons weapons of fire.
Yeah. But, interesting. And he's going, Farron is going to say, the fire that burns within must be bright. Hear the song, let it bolster your fight as I cast a thing.
All right. Go ahead.
How
and
many
roll
harpies
that.
are you gonna buff?
So you actually get to pick 2 effects now, right?
Yeah.
So one of them is going to be buffing. What's your other that you're gonna choose?
I think so I'm going to do the 1d4 forward to damage to Vori.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And I'm going to give the next time someone has successfully assist the target with aid, they get +2 instead of +1 to Gregor.
Okay. Let me double check. So you picked Eldritch whatchamahoozy, right?
Yeah, Eldritch.
So I think
Uh,
they both
Tones.
have to apply to the same ally.
oh, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it says choose an ally and add an effect.
And add 2. Okay,
Eldritch
so
Tones just says 2 effects.
I will also, then I'll shift the aid to,
Vori. So you're
Vori.
buffing the fuck out of Vori. All right, go ahead and
Yeah.
go ahead and roll it.
I did.
Oh, you did. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. I was looking at the book.
No
9. Okay, your spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention. Your magic reverberates to other targets, affecting them as well. I mean, the theme whenever you roll a 7 and 9 on buffing has
Yeah,
been
it's
that I
just
give
like-
it to enemies. But
Hello, look at me.
Vori, go
I
ahead and
am
take.
standing the closest to Vori.
Exactly.
Vori, go ahead and
I'm
take the
wearing my
buff. But as these harpies like wheel away from Arrow, one of them is going for you, Farron, and is going to swoop down and wrap its talons around your arms and lift you up off of the ground and
What?
begin to fly away.
Does my
Yeah, I'm gonna
defend
throw
do
my
anything?
freaking spear at that thing.
Someone grab Farron's feet.
Well, I don't. My hands are full.
Gregor?
Let's see. Gregor, go ahead and you can roll defend, and we'll see how well you
Okay.
do. We'll see if.
Come on, defend.
Yeah.
Oh my
hell
God.
I got
so-
my plus 1!
Yeah.
He's
So.
rolled.
And this is the first time one of you has triggered the fancy new ability off of the no
Oh
stone.
man.
So, for the viewers, on a 12 plus for Gregor, when he defends, he gets to hold 4 instead of 3. So you can spend your hold. They're yours to have and to hold, or to spend for as long as you want.
Okay.
As long as you shall live.
Yeah.
We're still thinking about ships, I see.
Look, we've got marriage on the brain.
Okay.
We've all got it on the brain.
So what would you like to do?
So I guess I could do all of these, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, you could.
Um,
You could also spend multiple on the same thing. Like, you could spend all of them on the deal damage
That's
to your attacker equal to your level.
Because is the harpy doing any damage to Farron?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, so I'm not going to worry about this having the damage or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to open up attacks to both Vori and Arrow then.
Let's see. Giving that ally +1 forward against the attacker. Okay. So you're going to spend 2 hold to... You, swing out with the hammer, and as you do so, you hear a voice in your mind say, yes. And you swing out with the hammer, startled, and you clip the wing of the harpy, and it, turns to face you, still gripping. Farron, you're, twisted mid-air, and, your arm swings out, still holding the loot. But the harpy is open to attack to both Vori and Arrow. Would you like to do something else with your hold, or would you like to wait?
You know what? I'll do deal damage equal to my level, so just a nice little 3 damage to it.
Okay, so you with clipping its wing, you hear something crack as you damage its feathers.
I hope it's not Farron.
Fortunately not.
Ori will use that opening to run up and
Okay,
stab
so you
it at reach.
fling the spear. All right, go for it.
How
So
do
this is
how do
a
I just roll damage, I guess.
this is no, it's volley. That's what you're doing.
Am I?
Because
Okay.
you're throwing this.
Okay. Thank
this
you.
thing.
Except I need to use a different stat for that because immolators are weird.
Does Burning Brand not use?
Burning Brand makes you use int for your weapon rolls as opposed to strength or
Oh,
dex.
nice.
That's the whole point of it. That's why
Hell
I don't
yeah.
need strength or dex.
Fuck yeah, dude.
By the way, when I leveled up, I upped my dex, so I'm at max dex.
Oh my god.
Heck yeah.
A 7. Okay.
Oh,
so you,
I forgot to add the. Did I add my assist or forward or all that shit to that? I don't know if
that
I-
would only be if somebody had helped you, which they did not. You do get a +1 from Gregor, which brings you
Okay.
to an 8.
Okay.
And you get plus 1d4 to damage.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I had
you have a
plus ones that I didn't know about.
you have a choice. You can deal your damage and choose one. You have to move to get the shot, placing you in danger at the DM's choice. You have to take what you can get, take minus 1d6 damage, or you have to take several shots, reducing your ammo by 1.
I'll spend a couple
which-
uses of the Burning Brand.
I believe that's actually not an option for the Burning Brand. I have to double check. But I remember reading, because it doesn't have ammo, it has uses, which are different.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you have to choose between reducing the damage or putting yourself in danger.
Well, we'll reduce the damage since I get a bonus to damage, I guess.
Okay, so roll your damage and then roll
So
a
it's
d6
a
and a
D6
d4.
instead?
No,
or-
it's minus
Oh.
1d6 damage.
What the heck? Okay. That plus whatever.
So 8 and then roll a d6. So 5 and then roll a d4 for the boost from Farron.
This is too many dice.
Hey! Okay, so you deal
It's a wash of some
9
kind.
damage. 9 damage. So you run up and fling this fiery javelin. A second one, like, forming in your hand as your hand swings behind you. And the blue fire streaks out and pierces the heart of this harpy, and it drops the 5 feet to the ground, letting go of Farron. And the group of you can sort of recover for a moment as the harpies wheel back around. And Gregor, you hear that same voice. Blood, blood, yes, blood.
Does it seem like it's coming specifically from my weapon or just like
You
in my head?
can just hear it in your head. It's like your head, your skull is vibrating.
Like Gregor's like looking around like, what the fuck?
You all right over there?
You didn't hear that?
No.
Keep an eye out. Something wants blood.
Yes, I think they're harpies.
Yeah.
The harpies
Let's
swing.
concentrate on the harpies.
The harpies swing back around, and one of them is aiming for you, Vori.
Okay.
I want to shoot him though.
So shoot.
Okay.
Let me shoot him, Dylan.
Well. Okay, so tell me what
If
Aaron
one's
does.
coming at him, he will throw another javelin at it.
You know,
But
with
if
one
Arrow
less
wants to-
harpy,
Yeah, if Arrow wants to jump in and do that
I'm
first.
still gonna blot out the sun. I'm still gonna shoot all of them. So now he knocks 3 arrows this time, and I think
Okay.
he actually stands up and repositions because they have obviously moved,
Mm-hmm.
and is now standing like kind of right or kneeling down right next to where Farron fell down, and is going to take aim at the other 3. Here we go. 9.
All right. Deal your damage and choose one.
Actually, I get a +1 because of Gregor's.
That
Adding.
was to the harpy that is now dead.
Oh.
It's not.
What?
It's not +1 forward. It's +1 forward against the enemy that was opened up.
Oh, gotcha.
Me just gotcha.
Okay. No, that's fine. So, shit. Okay. You know what? I'll just go ahead and reduce my ammo too.
Okay.
So reducing my ammo by 1.
Yeah. So that's
So
a total.
reducing it
You're
by
reducing your
4.
ammo by 3.
Yeah, by 3 because there's 3. Yeah. Ugh, okay.
Okay.
Damage
and
time.
Yeah. Roll that damage. Oof. Not so much.
Not great.
Your arrows whiz through the feathers of these things as they get ever closer. Let's see.
That's 3 each.
All right, and one of them is bearing down on you, Vori, and the other 2 are going to go for arrow.
All right.
Vori, what do you do?
Well, he's gonna defend himself by swinging or throwing at it if it's close, and I have to swing. I
It's
will
not
swing.
quite in range.
Okay, then throwing it to nail it in the head or heart or whatever will stop it moving.
Yeah.
The best. So volley again.
Mhm.
All right.
A 10 plus. Deal your damage.
Sweet.
7. Okay, so as it bears down on you, we see you like scrape out into a sort of a martial stance and then swing forward with this javelin, and it catches the harpy in the neck, and there's this plume of flame that burns out across its body, turning its feathers into curling black tendrils, and it drops dead to the ground at your feet, sending like pebbles scattering.
And up comes the last one. I have one more usage.
Yeah, Arrow, they're pretty much on top of you. What are you gonna do, or what are other people going to do to help here?
Gregor will attempt to defend Arrow by like taking his shield and like kind of like trying to smack him away, like bash him away.
Slap a
All
heart.
right.
You still have one hold, right?
I think that was. I need to double check the wording on defend because I don't know if it's the specific person. You stand in defense of a person, item, or location under attack. I think it's the specific person.
So he would just have to do defend again.
Yeah.
Defend
Gotcha.
again.
Ah, so close. So you
Nice.
get to
Aw.
hold 3.
Okay.
Only 3. Oh no.
All right.
Shucks.
I will have any the damage to Arrow.
Okay. You can also like wait for an attack to land and then spend your hold. You don't have to spend it when you
Gotcha.
succeed on the defend move.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna open up the harpy messing with Arrow, so that way
So you like
Arrow can get +1 forward against it.
awesome. So you like swing with the shield to open this thing up, and you hear the voice again. No, you idiot! Not with the shield.
Can I try and get a shot in?
Yeah, Arrow, go ahead.
Remember,
Okay.
Adam, you wanted this.
You did.
No, this is
You
why
asked
I
for
bought
this.
so much ammo.
I thought
So
maybe
I'm
it'd
gonna-
be a nice hammer.
I'm gonna try and hit them all again and spend. There's still 3. No, there's 2, right?
There's 2.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
just the 2.
Okay, here we go.
So you spend 1 ammo,
Mhm.
and oh man, a 10. Okay, do your damage.
Well, an 11.
An 11. Sorry.
Yeah. 4. The 2 that are there.
All right, so thunk thunk, thump. Both of them fall to the ground. What a waste! And actually, the 3 of you you hear that voice come from the hammer.
Farron's still on the ground.
Ori will extinguish his last remaining weapon and extend a hand down to Farron. You all right?
Yeah, I think Arrow's helping get Farron up too.
Big Gregor's is like, you guys heard that, right?
I have been better. That is much more interesting.
Hmm.
Was that your hammer?
This time, just in your head, they can't be trusted.
You're looking
You
worried.
see? Do you see how much blood they spilt without you? You could be drinking like a king.
You're all right there, Gregor?
Looking a
Oh,
little.
I am not all right.
I have something on my mind, and I don't know whether to talk about
Wait,
it.
you guys didn't
Also,
hear
you're
that?
staring very intently at your hammer.
No. It seems like it wants to whisper sweet nothings to you.
Hello?
Hello.
Like a microphone.
Quick, before the corpses are cold, bash in their heads.
That we're fine. We're done.
You would deny me this greatest of pleasures.
Will you shut up? If I do this.
Yes.
All right, look away, guys. And Gregor will give it what it wants.
All right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's gruesome.
Was that strictly necessary?
Gregor, you just hear laughing in your, and actually, I think now all of you, it doesn't have enough control at the moment to keep to just Gregor. You just hear, yes.
You know, maybe we should consign that weapon to the water and get you a new one.
No way, I've used this for
Such
years.
Insolence! How dare you speak that way of Skullbreaker?
Did we all think
Skullbreaker.
that too?
I didn't think
Yeah.
of that.
Is this a magic item? Question mark, exclamation point.
I mean, I'm pretty magical with it, but no.
Farron does kind of go.
Because I got
That's-
a ring that does shit now.
You have been
Skullbreaker.
given a chance at such great glory, Gregor. Do not throw it away.
Thank you, Skullbreaker.
Such a
We're
creative
talking out
name.
loud to someone.
We're
didn't
really
name
going to
it.
have to talk to your new friend about their attitude.
Why are you talking to me now?
I have awakened. I sensed in you a power, a strength, great enough to wield me to my full potential. I have chosen you, Gregor Whitbread. This world shall run red with blood spilled by your hands.
All right, let's take it down a notch. There will be blood, but we're not gonna go with the whole like
So
brutal
much
murder.
blood!
No, stop. Oh my god, this is gonna be an adjustment. Are you good right now? Are you satisfied?
I am.
All right, how about you just rest for a little bit? Enjoy
My
that.
thirst is slaked for now, but tomorrow we must shed more.
Okay. All right.
More minds shall I feed upon, until all knowledge in creation belongs to me.
Wait, what?
And with it, you will become a king of death.
What? No, dial it back. We're not doing this.
You'll come around.
Gosh. Gregor's just gonna kind of put it over his shoulder.
I feel like we should name your.
I have a new
friend-
ship, everybody.
Oh god!
Guys, I got a situation here.
Oh, yes. Yes, you do. You have a very
He and I are not on the same page.
no.
He sounded
Very
demented.
united weapon.
Truly,
Listen,
if this weapon wanted to create such a unoriginal and literal name for itself, it should have chosen poor impulse control and unchecked aggression.
That's a little lengthy, don't you think?
I am named for who I was in life. I brought this world to its knees.
Wait
Yes, I'm sure you did.
a minute. What do you mean?
I am Skullbreaker. Do you not know of the conquests of the great Skullbreaker, terror of the 100 wastes, destroyer of all lands?
Oh, yes. No. No, I don't.
Do I?
Maybe. Roll spell lore.
No one knows what the fuck this hammer's talking about.
Why do we have a psycho hammer?
Something
Oh, this is
interesting.
interpretation.
And
Nope.
no,
No.
okay, so Farron can mark experience. Gregor, you incidentally remember a thing from when you were bored and reading in the library as a younger fellow. Skullbreaker actually rings a bit of a bell, and there's like some... You're pretty sure the name comes from the west, towards the deserts, which the desert some time ago saw a significant amount of war between sort of the invading and conquering dwarves from the north and the nomadic orcish tribes that lived there.
Oh gosh. Skullbreaker,
Yes.
are you an orc, buddy?
How dare you? I cannot be labeled in this way. I am a ruler, a destroyer, a bringer of suffering and
Were
pain.
you an orc
I think
before the...
that question is deeply personal, and I don't know you well enough to be telling you.
All right,
There's a
buddy.
weapon! Oh my god!
Listen, You're definitely living up to your name because you're giving me a fucking headache.
Bow before me!
Well, at least I'm not alone in this.
You have my deepest condolences, Gregor.
Don't worry, we're gonna make this work somehow. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll do it.
Such disrespect requires punishment.
Listen, if you
I
ever
don't
need
think
we're
anything
I'm
not
this.
punishing
reforged,
it. No. You know, yeah, let's go back to town.
Yes.
I think our job here is done.
Aren't
We
there
shall
some Harpies
rule
left?
this town.
No, we're not gonna.
This
Are there
city of
Harpies
Two
left?
Rivers will be our first conquest, Gregor.
No, we're saving the city from.
Onward to glory!
Oh,
Oh no.
Baker's doing literally what I'm doing.
And I think with that, we're pretty much at the top of the hour. I think this is a good place for us to end the episode.
Just a freeze frame of everybody face palming.
Everybody just like, what's happening?
Just the camera just pan zoom away from us, like a really wide shot. While
And
we
you can just hear
this.
them yelling at each other.
Yeah, it's like
The hammer.
the four of you walking off, and we just hear the shouting. We shall rule Two Rivers.
No, no, we shall not.
So let's do end of session stuff.
Shit, with the sword. I mean, hammer. Oh, I hate him.
You did this to yourself, Adam.
It's true. I asked for
I-
this.
I literally will never take the talking to animals now because that would be a fucking mess. Oh.
When you reach the end of the session, choose one of your bonds that you feel is resolved, completely explored, no longer relevant, or otherwise. Ask the player of the character you have the bond with if they agree. If they do, mark XP and write a new bond with whomever you wish. So let's start with Summer. Summer, do you feel you have fulfilled a bond today?
I don't know. I kind of want to rewrite Farron's bond.
Okay, what was
Yeah.
it before?
Yeah, Farron's bond was Farron does not understand life in the wild, so I will teach them. I mean, that became so fucking accurate today.
Yeah.
No.
And vice versa on my end, if Arrow doesn't trust me and for good reason, and now that they're actually,
Kind of on speaking terms.
yeah, they're chatting and actually open about things.
So, do the two of you feel like Arrow's bond with Farron is resolved? It's no longer relevant or completely explored?
Yeah, I think that this particular bond is completely explored for
Okay.
me. I want it to be updated to something more current to what their relationship is looking like.
Okay. Then mark XP and write a new bond with whomever you wish.
I think I'm still gonna keep it with Farron,
Okay.
because I like having a bond with them.
All right. Let's see. What about Vori?
Nope.
No, you don't think you've fulfilled any of your bonds?
Nope. I haven't
All right.
encountered any of them, or they're dead. So
I mean, you can also, like, no longer relevant can also mean that Vori doesn't care to explore that thing anymore. Like, he's let go of it.
That one is going to be relevant until the end of the game or until he dies, probably.
Okay. All right. Well, also, have you written the bond for Bishop Bish? Okay.
the Bish. Yeah.
Billy the Bish?
Billy the Bish.
Billy the Bish has a bond now.
Can we know what it is? Can we hear it?
Sure. So, I always assumed the bishop was the one who gave the order to send me to the Bonds Magi. I have resented him ever since.
Ooh.
Now, the thing to
so
bear in
good.
mind is that that's what Vori believes. He does not know if it is true or not.
Yeah.
It may or may not be true. That's up to you.
Do you want me
That's
to read
really
my new bond with Vori? That is new as of this session.
Yeah, actually, because you that was your resolved Rydia bond from last session, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the new one?
I know there is more for me to learn from Rhodia's past, so I'll become closer to Vori and uncover the secrets of her life.
Ooh, interesting.
Secret.
Okay.
Secrets. Good
All right.
ones.
So, and then Farron, you think you've resolved your bond with Arrow?
I think so, and I want to update it to something.
Okay. Arrow, do you agree? that is resolved.
What was yours again?
Arrow doesn't trust me, and for good reasons.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't think that's I don't think that's true
We
anymore.
didn't trust you to navigate anymore.
Yeah, you trust me to
yeah.
navigate,
Collectively.
but like
None of us
generally,
trust you to navigate anymore.
All right, then go ahead and mark experience, and you can write a new bond with whomever you wish.
yeah, I'm gonna write one again for Arrow and just update it to something. Not sure yet.
Yeah, we'll talk
Legit.
about it.
And Gregor, you feel you have resolved a bond.
I feel like my bonds continue. So with Farron, I have sworn to protect Farron.
Mhm.
That's kind of an ongoing thing, and while Gregor has protected Farron, I feel like that'll get resolved with, I guess, something maybe bigger and more meaningful, whatever that ends up being.
Yeah.
And then Arrow owes me their life, whether they want to or admit it or not. I feel like that's kind of kept going.
Yeah.
I feel like that will change kind of when, I guess, Arrow returns the favor.
Mhm.
Or when you return the favor because you owe me too.
True. We have
it's
this
gonna be a
like
mutual-
this self-feeling feeding thing.
Yeah,
going
that
I
on.
that
think it's
bond
going to
is
be a
just
very
gonna live
coming-
forever.
I think it's going to be a coming to the middle of some big moment
Yeah.
where they help each other.
Yeah, I feel like most of my bonds are going to be very long-term ones. So, and
Alright.
then Vori, I haven't quite figured out a bond with yet.
Yeah, we gotta
Did
figure
you?
something out.
Did we have you resolve your bond with Rydia at the end of episode 3? Did we do that? Or do you still
We
have
didn't do anything
hers marked?
formally, but I kind of think at this point, because Gregor wasn't extremely close with Rydia,
Mhm. Well,
pretty
and,
much his thing was he was, afraid of her being able to handle herself in the dungeon.
yeah, which
Doesn't
that's
have to
that's
worry
resolved.
about that anymore. Yeah. So it's resolved in one way, I guess.
Yeah, so you can mark XP and then replace that with a new bond, presumably
Okay.
with Vori. But
Can
it
I
be
can I add a
whatever you
bond for Bonebreaker or Skullbreaker?
Skullbreaker? Let me see. It says whomever you wish, so yeah, if you want to make a bond with Skullbreaker, you can do that.
It's empty an NPC.
Yeah, Gregor really wants to rein Skullbreaker in. Get him a little more even keel.
I will teach him to
Chill.
chill the fuck out.
Skullbreaker is wild and uncontrollable. I will find a way to rein it in.
It's like, oh no, I'm not getting rid of my hammer though.
Okay.
I vow
like
to
it.
find the mute button.
That's a
you, Lynn.
resolvable thing.
Thank you, Lynn. Amazing.
Alright. So with bonds updated, take a look at your alignment. If you feel that you fulfilled that alignment at least once in the session, mark XP. Who fulfilled?
I resolved my bond with Lydia with that last song.
Okay. That... So technically you can only resolve one bond per session.
Okay,
Um,
I will figure that out then.
yeah. We can talk offline about that. Partially because, like, you were missing for a session and whatnot. We'll probably just let you do it anyway. So, alignments. Arrow, what's your alignment? Have you still not changed it?
No, I haven't. Because
Okay.
you know what?
Mhm.
Someday I will help an animal or spirit of the wild, and it'll be so juicy when I do. That's what it
you
is
should
right
not do
now.
that
It's
today.
neutral. I'll work on it.
Okay.
I'm going to work on updating that before next session because I think that there are many times he could have reached that neutral alignment, but hasn't.
Alright. Vori.
Chaotic spread a dangerous new idea. I did talk about some fire bullshit that exists.
I think you shared lore, but it's not like a new idea necessarily.
Yeah.
Like I think that refers more to like political ideals and social
That's fine.
ideals.
That's fine.
Farron.
I don't really think so. I didn't really avoid a conflict or diffuse a tense situation.
Yeah, not a good episode for alignments today. Except Gregor, if I remember yours correctly, what was
Yeah.
yours?
I'm good, and I have to defend those weaker than me, and I did.
You did, mark XP. And finally, we answered these 3 questions as a group. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
The life fire.
Yeah, yes.
Saw the
Yes,
beginning.
it happened.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty much anytime you encounter a no stone, the answer to that question will be yes. Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
Herpes.
Did you feel that was notable?
It was notable in the way that we heard about it from 3 weeks' journey away.
All right.
We went on a quest to do this, so
Yeah.
Okay. Then you can mark XP for that as well. And did you loot a memorable treasure?
Do you count opening the no stone as looting a memorable treasure?
No, because I gave you an experience for that last
That's
session.
true.
when
Yeah,
you
okay.
recovered it.
Then yeah, just those two.
It is
Skullbreaker
technically.
thinks blood is valuable.
I will. I will remind you that it technically isn't up to me as the GM. It's up to group consensus. But my feelings are that yeah, I don't think you looted a memorable treasure this
Oh,
time.
I think that's fair.
And yeah, is everybody ready to level up again? I assume.
Yep.
Arrow probably. Yeah.
Yep.
I can actually make level 3.
Level 5.
Yeah.
Leave behind forever.
Jesus,
Fine.
Arrow. All right, so that is our show. We're gonna do some outros, and then I will talk about what is coming up in the next week for the channel. So, to get us started, Summer, tell us about yourself.
Yep, I'm Summer. I stream tabletop RPGs on Twitch Monday through Friday. Now we're starting a bunch of new shows. I know. Oh God, what have I done? So we're starting a bunch of new shows. We're going to be making cast announcements here in the next week or so, but currently we're still taking submissions. We have an open slot on every other Thursday for somebody to come run something for us. We're looking for new systems we've never played before. So if you're interested in running something for me, that's on our Off the Table Twitter, off_the_table. Signups last until tomorrow. And then we'll be announcing that in a week. But yeah, other than that, catch me here every Saturday.
Yeah.
1 week from today is more Ryutama. That's like, it's so weird because it's like on Ryutama, I'm like 1 week until dust, and then like 1 week until. It's so good. It's the never-ending cycle of being excited for games on this channel.
Yeah,
So great.
I have the reverse issue where after a session I'm like, oh my god, it's 2 weeks until the next time we get to do this, and then like the next show rolls around, I'm like, woo! Oh, it's 2 weeks till we get to do this again. I'm a half glass empty person.
Just follow me on Twitter to find out everything I'm doing. I tweet about everything. So
Yes, and her Twitter is there on the screen.
also
Look-
it's garbage. So if you want to see my own garbage thoughts too,
yeah.
that's something else that happens there.
Jess,
Yay!
what are you getting up to?
Oh, what am I up to? Well, in whatever, like, I'm gonna go grab food, and then I'm gonna be back over on my channel, and we're gonna do the samurai smooching thing.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. I will tweet when I am live. I think this week on Encounter Roleplay on Tuesday, we will have the finale of the Long March. That was a little bit of a long time in coming due to rescheduling and whatnot. So look for that. I assume I'm going to die just because of all the terrible shit that's happened to my character so far.
Yikes.
It'll be fine. And then I have a bunch of other stuff that will be coming up, so stay tuned on my Twitter, and you might see a schedule for all the crap I am running or participating in across various channels during the fall season. I was totally going to take that Thursday slot from Summer's channel, but I have a different thing on Thursday.
Oh no.
So, next time.
Hateful, rude. How dare you?
Next time.
Slander.
That's okay. I'll see you some other time.
And Kiana, you've also got some stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
One or two
I have
things.
all the things going. Yeah. With the new season coming up, my schedule is going through a freaking overhaul. But it's happening. So definitely keep an eye out on my Twitter, which is Kiana S, to figure out what I'm doing, as I'll be making announcements over the next little while to kind of just, the shows I'm going to be running, the shows I'm going to be in, all the other stuff as well. So yeah, that's the best way to figure out where I am and find all the things that I'd like to talk about and tweet about. And I'm excited for next session and for more ships.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
More
Yes.
ships! The hammer ship! Welcome aboard, everybody!
Shipping Skullbreaker and Gregor.
Listen,
Oh,
I already
gosh.
gave it a ship name. It's Breadbreaker.
Breadbreaker, yes! That is so good. That is so good. All right, speaking of 50% of the best ship on this show, Adam, tell us about yourself.
I'm Adam. I have a talking hammer now, and I just traveled a whole bunch. I just got all kinds of married, and life's finally calming down a bit. So I'm hoping to get back to my usual antics. I do host a YouTube channel where I talk about D&D, other tabletop games, and generally the very social behavioral aspects of it, and how getting into those can improve your gaming experience. I really hope to actually be able to put out some videos, maybe one next week or something. And currently, this is the only tabletop gaming live stream I'm a part of right now. I do also have some voiceover projects under NDA right now, so I can't actually talk about them. But when I can, I will.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, that's Adam. Share updates about everything I do.
Hell yeah. Alrighty. And that's our show. This show will be back in 2 weeks. So in case you missed me mentioning it on travel last weekend, our Saturday time slot it's the same. It's 5 p.m. on Saturdays every week, but there are 2 shows alternating each week between this, which you know what it is, so I don't need to describe it, and Travel, which is our much lighter Ryutama campaign, which is a full-length Ryutama campaign with Summer and Jess, but also Jolie, who was on the 3-episode arc we did for Fun Shots, and Laugh Love Lindy, who is just all-around awesome. And it's super anime, and it's, at least for now, super fluffy, and I am loving the crap out of it. Look.
Visual art will probably be out next week.
Yes. Jess has done amazing, like truly knocking the ball out of
Outstanding.
the park.
A+.
Absolutely
Incredible.
mind-bogglingly good art of our 4 characters for this show.
This is best art ever? Question
And
mark?
we've been screaming about them as she works on it for like weeks now, and we're finally getting to a point where we get to share it with all of you. So make sure to look at all of the Twitters for that. Speaking of which, you can follow me on Twitter at Anarsis. I'm Anarsis everywhere. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all of those places. Patreon, where you can support the channel and help keep these shows happening. I'm just gonna plug myself for a second. There's
Do
a
it.
store link down below. I have a Design by Human store where I make original designs for t-shirts, mugs, posters, stickers, all that fun stuff. Got a variety of designs from cracking open a great old one with the boys meme / Eldritch stuff. Some more cyberpunky stuff, some 80s stuff, all sorts of things. So if you want to help out but also get yourself some things, that's a good way to do that. But I just want to say a big thanks to everybody who came out tonight. Thanks for the 3-month resub, Janaya, earlier tonight. Thank you for the hosts. Thank you, even if you're just lurking. Every little bit makes this more special than it would be without you, so thank you. Most importantly, have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night. That's the wrong button. There we go. Nope. There we go. Nope. Fuck. Shut it down! Kill it!
Kill it! Kill the stream!